Hello, everyone. It is Thursday night, 10 p.m. We need to get started on this Modern Rogue episode, and we need to get it finished. So I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to try to get through all of it tonight. Hopefully it won't take a ton of time, but I don't know. So I guess we should get started pretty quickly here. There we go. I probably should have changed this before we started, but that's okay. Modern Rogue and youtube.com/Modern Rogue. This episode should go up tomorrow at 10 a.m. ideally, right? And that's super out of line. Okay, cool. So let's get started from ground zero. Episode 058. Which one is this? This one is Shurikens. Exports. Thumbnails. Project files. Assets. Now we can finally put to rest all of those people who think that the show is scripted. What a weird thing. What a weird thing. I don't remember how much footage we got with this one. I want to say it was a longer one, but I guess we'll find out. Okay. Yeah. So let's go to Modern Rogue episodes 58. Also, I never got a chance to do an outtakes for this week, for this week's episode, but that's okay. Save. Modern Rogue episodes 58. Modern Rogue 58. Okay, let's get started. Let's go over to assembly. Schedule, nope. Modern Rogue though. Footage. 2017, quarter one. Shuriken. That was our first episode. Master shot. Oh, and you guys will be able to see the color chart workflow, which is a very new thing. Ooh, this looks like a lot of footage. This might be a really late night. Okay, then let's get Bryce's footage. Well, I guess let's double check this just to make sure that this is all the right stuff. Yeah. So if you were paying attention during the bug episode, the surveillance episode, you can see this target in the background with the shurikens in them, which was a fun little thing. Yeah, it definitely is a lot of gigabytes. And that's just for one camera, right? So that's 4 times 8, 9, something like that. Let's go to, okay, so now we need Bryce's footage. Private AVC HD. Import those. Let's go to Brant. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Brant, private, AVC, HD. Let's import that. Then we have audio. I think this night we only shot 2 episodes. Audio, folder 1, Zoom 1. with these. Toss that in audio. Okay. Ooh, should we do a merch plug this week? Come on. Hey, come on. Sometimes you can like click and drag. There we go. I guess it just has to be not over text. Okay. Create a multicam episode multicam. Let it sync. Shout out to the dude in YouTube who I'm talking to about editing. How you doing, Shiftlock? So this is going to be, the idea is that this will be archived on youtube.com/scamstuff, but it is currently being live streamed on twitch.tv/gadwag. By the way.
It's not about strength or power.
That's very loud. And at some point this will finish. Usually it doesn't take this long. Let me pull up my episode doc. Can I get rid of the taskbar here? Then I can share it with you. Here, how about I do this, and then I can show you the left screen. Which one is it? Display capture. Left monitor. There we go. Recursion. Okay, so this is our doc, by the way. Heads up. Super secret information, I guess. Whatever. Okay, so this is kind of how I keep track of sponsor sort of stuff, just to see where we have it implemented. So it's been 3 weeks since we did a merch plug. It might not be a bad idea to do one more. Previously we'd gone 5 weeks accidentally. Did not mean to do that. I kept forgetting. But 3 weeks, I kind of like the 3 week interval just to remind people that that's a thing that we offer, you know? So yeah, maybe I'll do that this week as well. I guess kind of depending on how much time we have. Okay. So let me drag this back over here. One second. Looks like it finished. Okay. Cool. So we can kind of jump back over to our editing workspace.
You apply excessive force. I control that force through motion. That means
We can drag episode multicam into our sequence.
without thought.
We can also throw that into overflow. We don't need that right now.
Clear water.
Okay, let's see. Okay. An hour and 10 minutes of footage. That's a lot of footage. So we'll try to make our way through there. So this is what it looks like when it automatically syncs it together. It assumes that every individual video clip is like a different video that's being taken simultaneously, which is not the case here with this GH4 footage. This GH4 footage, it doesn't span in the same way that the GH2 footage is. So like this spans where it takes all of these individual clips and combines them together into one single video file, and the GH4 has all these individual video files. So it puts it into its own separate layer. So we just have to like collapse this, and it'll just make life a lot easier, especially since we're about to do multicam switching, and you want that to you don't want to have to keep jumping like, oh, go to track 7, but now it's track 8, I guess. What is going on over here? Is this pickup? Okay. So that's going to be Bryce's camera and mine. Oh, good lord. Okay. This also has A7S footage, so we actually need to go back and grab that. Okay. A7S. So let's do. Where are we at? Is that detail?
When you walk into my shoes, I'ma tie it tight. You can tie it tight like you ride a bike. It can
Private.
cry when you ride at night. Head on the shoulders ain't a zone.
No, this would not be. Oh, right. Okay, so this episode, we had a fourth camera, which we very rarely have. Okay, so this is gonna get weird. Yeah, we had 5 cameras this episode, just because. So let's import detail. We'll have to resync this. I mean, I could do it manually, but I'd rather not. If I can help it. Okay, here's the A7S. So this is going to be in private, M4 root, clip. Okay. We also have photos taken with the A7S. God, did I get... Okay, I was about to say, did I get color chart for this? I seriously hope so, and I did. So I'm just going to assume that all of this belongs right now. If it doesn't, then we'll figure that out in a bit. Okay, same thing. Episode, multicam. And now it'll process all that. Hi, Open by you. How you doing, dog? So yeah, remind me about that merch plug once we get towards the end. I'll try to remember that. Where do you buy a color chart? Amazon. You could also buy them directly from the manufacturer. There are a couple of different primary ones. I'm gonna say so. X-Rite does one. X-Rite does one, and Data Spider Data. No, not Data Spider. It's like a spider color chart. Data correct. Data something. You could just kind of look around for color charts, and there are a couple of really prominent ones. Actually, since I use Resolve for color correction stuff, I checked at which color chart stuff they have built in, and I just got the highest reviewed one of those, which is the X-Rite chart. So let's go Mono new project. Oops. So over here they've got data color. So there's X-Rite, data color, and DSC Labs, which I'm not familiar with that. So I went with the X-Rite color checker passport video. So I want to say, but we'll get to that in a minute. This is a little bit improperly sized. I think that's still a little off. That's not right. That's not right either. Okay, well, it's close. Okay, so a couple clips they couldn't synchronize. It could synchronize all of them before, so I assume one or some of the A7S clips are a little wonky. They might be before or after the audio started recording, or it might be from a different episode entirely. I don't know. Okay, so let's go ahead and just delete that. We don't need that. Oh God. What is it I have done? Okay. So let's drop that in there. Okay. So all of these little clips are GH4. So that's our master camera. So we want that to be layer 1, presumably. I like having it layer 1. It's only sensible. Okay. There we go with that. Okay, so this is going to be A7S. I thought I had more from the A7S in this episode, but maybe not. So let's go ahead and bump that up to layer... Ooh, I guess we should go layer 5. Right? Okay, and then drop these down. You want to make sure that it's at +0. That means it's synced up with where it was before. Sync is obviously important. You just sat there and waited for it to sync up, so. Okay. Now let's see. So that's going to be detail. That's going to be my shot. That's going to be Bryce's shot. So if this is Bryce, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, and then this is the A7S shot right here. Somewhere right here. Okay. So we're going to change the sequence to 1080p. Then we're going to go through and take all of this 4K footage, set it to 1080p. That's really important for when we do our camera switching stuff. Because if your camera switching stuff is in 4K, but your final sequence is in 1080p like it is over here, then when you do this camera switching preview stuff, all of these preview images are going to be blown up in 4K, but cropped in 1080, which makes it really hard to deal with. Nice. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a ton of empty space here. We could get rid of a lot of that, but not all of that, since we have 5 clips. Ideally, we would just have 4, and it would make a perfect square. But we're gonna go in here and delete all of these empty tracks. Delete audio and video. You could also delete audio and video before you move these tracks around, and it would just consolidate everything, which is nice. But I like having those in specific places. So it's a little bit more manageable. It's unfortunate that there's so much empty space here. There's a lot of wind going on outside. Okay. So let's do, I guess we could do a color chart thing first, just to kind of get a baseline to make sure everything looks about right. Looks about the same. So let's maybe go over here. So so you might have seen in our doc, we shot some stuff over at the Wizard Academy with some whiskey episodes. And I think we had a better workflow there where we kind of took the cameras and put them right up in front of the color chart just to get a better view, but these should theoretically work. So unfortunately, Resolve doesn't like MTS files, which is what the GH2 records to. So I'm going to take some screenshots or some thumbnails, and then I'm going to grade those. So let's go to Modern Rogue episodes. Shuriken. Is Shuriken plural? Is that already plural? That sounds like a word that would already be plural instead of shurikens. It sounds like it would just be shuriken. I don't know. Graded thumbnail. Well, I guess it's already in the thumbnail section, so grades. So let's get that. Let's go ahead and grab that. Sure. let's grab. Focus, focus. Let's grab that. And then, yeah, let's grab that. And then we also saw that the A7S had it somewhere. Let's go ahead and take a look at that A7S footage, see what copied over and what didn't. We can change this to 5.8. Episode A7S. Okay, so we have 1, 2. Okay, so this is all right up on it. That's nice. Okay, right. This was for the surveillance stuff, so we don't actually need this footage. And that was all shot in 4K. Whereas this stuff for this episode was not shot in 4K. It was shot in 1080, and it was shot in high frame rates and stuff. So let's just drop this in here for a second. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna open up Resolve. Now, disclaimer, I don't know how to use Resolve hardly at all. I've only used it a handful of times before. It seems great. I know a lot of people told me, "Dog, you just use Resolve," and I went, "Yeah, okay." And then I didn't for forever. For instance, I just copied over 5 thumbnails, but somehow it consolidated 2 of them into one, and I don't know how or why. So I'm just gonna pretend like it didn't and do that. Sure. And I also don't know an easier way to do any of this, but I do know those key commands to cut that up. Drop this in here. I guess I don't need to cut it up. No real reason other than I like to. Don't know why that one is small or short, whereas the other ones are not. No idea. Couldn't possibly tell you. But now we have all of this here, which is important because you're just going to work with those clips. And since these are all thumbnails, I don't need to worry about like which portion of the video I'm working with. So we come over here, and that puts all these clips in this kind of clip area, right? So like here. Okay. So this, let's go ahead and label this to color chart. What we're gonna do is we're going to go passport video. We're going to select color chart, and I always put this right side up, and this color chart is always sideways. Seems like a weird thing. I can get rid of clips for now. It took me a very long time to figure out that you can move the video preview by holding in your middle mouse button. That was very frustrating to figure out because it's not a big enough problem that it's super well documented. But I basically use that in no other program. So you just kind of want to make sure that these squares are somewhere in the middle of these other squares. All right, and it's going to pull samples from that. And you can absolutely do this manually, and that's probably the best way to do it. Probably. But I don't know. I think this is just cool. Looking to see where it matches up really well and where it doesn't. It kind of automatically runs through this for you. So that's that color chart. And let's go over here. Color chart. Okay. And there's probably even a better. I have to imagine there would probably be a better way to do this faster, but Also, you see a lot of aberration here. Which lens is this? This is the 85. That's interesting. I don't feel like that's typically a problem with this lens, but obviously it is here. Okay. Or I guess fringing? What do you call that? You want to make sure it's on the right color chart. Match it up, dog. So you can see the difference there. It's much more kind of green and yellow shifted if you don't do the color chart. And the real advantage here is that, you know, you're going to get all of your footage is going to match up. There is actually a match shot. Oh, hey, Waffleophagus. There is a match shot function in Resolve. I haven't really worked with it much because you kind of need the video files for it, and if it doesn't support MTS, can't really match shot with most of my shots. So, but that's for another time. Color chart. Yeah, it's super easy. And I'm still kind of figuring out the workflow, and I'm still kind of figuring out, do I like the way it looks or not? I think I do. The only other video that we've done the color chart on so far is the surveillance episode of Modern Rogue, which I thought looked pretty good, all things considered. I did a little bit of work on the post end of that, but I started it with the color chart. I think it gives a little bit more of a natural reproduction of skin tones, but that's all going to be subjective. Well, I guess it shouldn't be. It should be objective. You can measure skin tone and stuff, but you know what I mean. So yeah, like especially with this board, it gives it like a lot of I guess what do you call that, like some magenta tone in there. Yeah, but I think once you kind of acclimate to it, I think it looks better at that point. Yeah. Okay, let's go over this one. DaVinci. So yeah, DaVinci Resolve. There's a paid version for $1,000 if you want to go that route. But there is a free version which is really great. It's the same tool. It just limits your functionality a little bit. I haven't really run up against those limitations. So I would recommend just going with Resolve, because Resolve has way better color tools than Premiere has, or most any other plugins in Premiere. Yeah, this is a weird angle for this. Color chart. Nope. But yeah, there's no way to natively do it in Premiere, as far as I know. Okay, so we got one more. Color chart. Well, that sucks, but it's okay, cause I'm on 2 points of my life. So let's get drunk and party. So let's get drunk and party. Yes, I am ridiculous. Fit it and I took it in. Sitting it like dividends. Trying to find a glitter. Man, this is a small one. Should not have done that. Really should have got that camera up in there. You want a lot of space to sample these colors, right? Otherwise, you're getting like pixel blending and stuff, and you're not really getting a good, accurate sample of that color reproduction, but it'll probably be fine. Probably. Only one way to find out, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so obviously we have an hour of footage we don't want to run the video through here and then export the video with the color correction or the color grade once we get the grade done, which I don't typically grade a lot, but sometimes I mess with the image a little bit. So we need a better solution than re-exporting this video. We don't need an extra 50 gigs plus of footage. So what this is doing is basically you get, so for people who don't understand how color charts work, you basically get this chart and they print out very specific tones and colors and stuff like that. And then it's at least theoretically printed out really nicely on specific paper. And then you have your camera, you have your lens, and you have your lights, and all of these treat light differently. So different cameras have different sensors. Different sensors sometimes are better at reproducing certain colors. Sometimes they have certain inherent tints and tones to them that affect your image. And the same with the lenses. Lenses treat light differently depending on the elements within them and how well they're polished and what they're polished with, and a whole slew of variables and characteristics. Also, your lights have a tremendous effect on the way your image looks, because some lights skew more green, some lights skew more blue. There are a million different variables, again, depending on what you use. So theoretically, the way that this works is you take your camera, your lens, your lights, you have everything set the way you're going to shoot the scene, you put your color chart there, and you shoot the color chart, and you know exactly what these tones are supposed to be. So you run it through your software, and you adjust your image so that these come out to the colors that they truly are supposed to be, and it sort of counterbalances deviations in the way that your image is going to accept the light and the colors on the scene, right? So it kind of brings everything back to, theoretically, a neutral sort of color space. Yeah, it basically normalizes the color across cameras and lenses. Okay, so the way that we handle this is we're going to right-click on this, and we're going to generate 3D LUT. So let's go to Monorogue Episodes, Shuriken, Project Files, Great Eclipse. Okay, so Monorogue 058, Master V1. Okay. Which one is this? This is Detail. So Monorogue 058 Detail V1. I don't really need V. I don't know why I added V. I never do that, but you know. This is Bryce. So Monorogue 058 Bryce V1. And this is going to be Brant. So Monorogue 058 Brant V1. And this is A7S. Monorogue 058 A7S. Okay, so that created LUTs. Which LUTs are just you know, these files that contain color information that you can influence your images with, basically. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research into LUTs. Some people have really strong opinions about LUTs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply Lumetri color, which is built into Premiere. I'm going to minimize this for now. And the nice thing about Lumetri is you can apply LUTs. So let's go to Monorogue Episodes, 58, Project Files, Great Eclipse. And this is the master shot. So we can apply that LUT that we generated over here. And so it changes your color in that same way. Right. The nice thing about Lumetri is if you apply it to the creative end, you can adjust the opacity at which it's affecting things. Don't want that to be 200. So that way, if you're like, oh, that's maybe a little aggressive for what I want, you can kind of dial it back a little bit. So we'll just keep it there for now. We'll apply that to all of these master shots. God, change, update.
You and me and everyone we know. That's you and me and everyone we know. That's you.
So this is gonna be
everyone we know. That's you and me and
Bryce.
everyone we know. You and me and everyone we know. That's you and me and everyone we know. You
So let's go find the one for Bryce.
everyone we know. That's you and me and everyone we know.
Bryce.
You and me and everyone we know. You and me and everyone we know.
Apply there as well. Okay, so this is going to be Brant. So let's go Brant. Okay. And then this is going to be Detail. Detail. And then this is A7S. Spoiler alert, there are gonna be balloons. Okay. So that at least gives us a baseline for working with this stuff. And then we can go in later and we can fine tune it a bit. Okay, so now we go through our first pass. I'll actually save this and close it down, and we'll come back to that. If any of you watched the Scam School edits, you'll be familiar with some of this process or any previous Modern Rogue streams. First pass is almost always just kind of like a camera switching thing. Sometimes I'll cut out like big chunks of video if it's like, oh, clearly, obviously nothing's happening here. But this is kind of just a first watch through to understand what kind of footage we're working with. Hopefully everything goes pretty smoothly since I don't typically edit video and stream and record. So frame rate might dip a little bit here and there, but hopefully it's fine.
Who's super pro? Prepping us late. Ready to go. That's our fate.
Rolling over here, rolling off here.
To do a key change, baby. Ski, 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 scooby doo doo. The volume up button changes the volume and triggers the slate. I have a beep button.
Hey, there's me. Oh, that's nice of me. I got a better angle for this shot and totally forgot about it.
Just face it to each of them.
Smart.
Yep.
That's okay. We got an okay
Blinds are like regulars now.
base point. All right, so that's our slate, our current slate. We used to have a different slate on Brian's phone, but then he went and bought a new phone and for some reason couldn't get the old slate back. So he went and bought a new slate. We've thought about getting a physical slate. We just haven't had any like real practical need for it, considering Premiere does a good enough job that really you can just clap and it works just as well. Honestly, we don't even need a clap. That would just be for safety. So that way, you know, we could, in case Premiere screws up, then I can manually sync it. But usually there's enough like environmental noise that Premiere does a really good job of syncing everything together.
Playing a game of chicken for who's gonna actually start.
Oh, I was.
Yeah, this is a little rough. A little rough with the frame rate.
Actually start.
Oh, I was.
I noticed that you were waiting for them to say go, but they weren't saying it.
Oh, no.
I was enjoying this inadvertent face-off.
I wasn't. I was actually off. Like I
You were
was-
dialed out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about a movie that I wanted to watch.
Is it Logan?
It's always Logan.
Yeah.
It's always Logan. Actually, it's Prisoners of the Lost Universe, but whatever.
Okay. Let's toss that in outtakes. Again, I just kind of, whether it's good or not, I throw sort of everything into outtakes, and then once I work on extended outtakes, I just kind of trim through that to see what makes the cut. Let's go ahead and put this production stinger at the very end. Drag this over a bit. Okay. I guess we could swap over to camera switching. It's the exact same as the other workspace, except it gets rid of the project stuff on the left.
All right.
Who's your favorite ninja, like ever?
So this is the cold open process. They just kind of riff for a while.
Who's your favorite ninja, like ever?
They try to keep it on topic, usually.
Wrong. It's me. Me, bitch. Me.
How many ninjas can you name?
Okay, let's dial that back. It's probably not going to be the cold open. I mean, it could be. Who knows? I wanna bump up just a couple dB. The computer, since they're pretty quiet right now.
How many ninjas can you name?
But let me know if it's super quiet on your end. Yeah, this is the second and final, as of right now, episode starring Jason's pants, because this was shot on the same day as the surveillance episode. This was right before the surveillance episode. There were a lot of comments about Jason's pants.
You name?
Oh, how many ninjas? Okay. Well,
Shinobi.
Shinobi, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo,
Okay, yeah.
Leonardo.
All right, yeah,
Right? Sho Kosugi.
This is actually a good bit. All right. How many can you name? Sorry, I'm dialing us back, starting it. Let's do a clean version of that. All right. All right. How many ninjas can you name?
All of them.
All right. How many ninjas? All right. How many ninjas can you name?
All of them. Except for the ones that were never discovered.
Shinobi.
Shinobi. Oh yeah, Shinobi.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow. You beat me to it.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Also from G.I. Joe. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello.
Yeah.
Raphael.
The American Ninja.
The American Ninja. Michael Dudikoff.
Oh, really?
That was his name.
All right.
Michael Dudikoff.
What do we count the guy who did Jim Cotta?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right on. All right.
Like, Jim Cotta was the greatest movie because it was a guy who used gymnastics to go into the mountains and fight mentally handicapped hill folk.
Here. In fact, that's what we're practicing on the pommel horse.
Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
What about the other Ryu? The one in Street Fighter?
No.
He's Taekwondo?
No.
Jump
yeah.
change?
He was like karate, which is, as Archer said, the Dane Cook of martial arts.
I'm gonna really quickly. I'm gonna pull all of these out of this sequence. So enable, and then flatten. So that pulls the audio out of this multicam here, which will be kind of important later once I cut up the audio a lot. Sometimes Premiere doesn't like that, so it freaks out. So I pull it out, and it's fine. Don't take that out of context.
Karate is the Dane Cook of martial arts. That's a good line. Karate is the Dane Cook of martial arts. That's a good line.
Not mine.
Yeah. Who else?
Red Fox? From Red Fox. Red Fox? From Red Fox.
I'm coming, Elizabeth, to kill you.
You big dummy! You dishonored my dojo! Didn't you just have a dojo? I don't even know if they do. It's a junkyard. Dishonored my junkyard!
What else?
Let's see. What was your favorite ninja movie in the 80s?
Oh, dude, it had to be.
Because like every other movie in the 80s was a ninja movie.
Yeah, but you know what? Ninjas were always. Ninjas are supposed to be like the most terrifying dark forces of night, right? They're the stormtrooper of martial arts things. They're always. You always get someone like Schwarzenegger punching them all and fending them off.
Inverse ninja rule.
Go on.
Have you never heard of that?
No.
The more ninjas there are, the less effective they are.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. Welcome to the internet. It's a thing.
All right, let's
It's
do
only
it.
slightly less important than Godwin's Law and Rule 43.
Wow. All right, let's do a tighter version of that.
Isn't that Rule 34? Isn't that what he's referring to?
Okay.
So if ninjas are supposed to be so badass, how come every action hero is able?
43.
Wow. All right. They're supposed to be so badass. How come every action hero is able to punch off hordes of them?
Brian, it's the inverse ninja rule. The more ninjas there are, the less effective they are.
Because it spreads out their power.
Sure, I guess.
It's the stormtrooper rule as well.
It's the Highlander
Oh
rule.
my god.
Oh my God.
Do we like any of those you want?
Sure, I can use that.
All right, right on.
Hey Jason, can you avoid like being straight 90 degrees?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Yeah, that was dumb.
In your mind, you have an Iron Man beam always going out
Okay.
towards the camera. All right. All right, what are we making?
Wait, are they just going with that? I don't know if there's a good one in there.
Okay.
As if that was a directive. What do you make? Okay. All right, so we're making shuriken, right?
Sure, you can pronounce it that way if you want.
I'm bad.
I
bad
am
with
too.
words.
I don't know if you pronounce it that way.
Okay, all right, yeah, let's start with that. So, first of all, are they called shuriken ninja stars?
All right, so yeah, it looks like they're just going to start with that. Let's see if any of these even remotely work as cold opens.
Favorite ninja, like ever. Wrong. It's me.
Kind of like that.
Me.
It's kind of funny.
How many ninjas can you name?
Oh, how many ninjas? Okay. Well,
Shinobi.
Shinobi, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo,
Okay, yeah.
Leonardo.
All right, yeah,
Right? Shokus.
Oh, well, that's probably not going to make the cut on either outtakes or actual episode proper, so it's kind of a non-issue outside of the fact that it will be in this video.
Kasugi.
All right, how many ninjas can you name?
All of them. Except for the ones that were never discovered.
Shinobi?
Shinobi. Oh, yeah, Shinobi.
See, this one kind of doesn't go nowhere.
How many ninjas can you name?
Oh, how many ninjas? Okay. Well,
Shinobi.
Shinobi, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo,
Okay, yeah.
Leonardo.
All right, yeah,
Right? Sho Kasugi.
All right, how many ninjas can you name?
All of them. Except for the ones that were never discovered.
Shinobi?
Shinobi. Oh, yeah, Shinobi.
Snake Eyes?
Snake Eyes. Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow. Your name?
Oh, how many ninjas? Okay, well,
Shinobi.
Shinobi.
So if we went with this, I would mix these takes together.
All right, how many ninjas can you name?
All of them. Except for the ones that were never discovered.
Shinobi?
So, for instance, I would take this.
Oh, how many ninjas? Okay, well, discovered.
How many ninjas can you name?
All of them. Except for the ones that were never discovered. Oh, how many ninjas? Okay, well,
Shinobi.
Shinobi. Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo.
Shinobi.
Shinobi. Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo.
Okay, yeah.
Leonardo.
All right, yeah.
Right. Sho Kasugi.
Shinobi.
Shinobi. Oh, yeah, Shinobi.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow. You beat me.
So really, you're just kind of looking for threads to tie episode or to tie sentences together when it comes to this kind of thing.
All right, yeah.
Sho Kasugi.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow. You beat me to it.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Also from G.I. Joe. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello.
Yeah.
Raphael.
The American Ninja.
The American Ninja. Michael Dudikoff.
Oh, really?
That was his,
The American Ninja.
But yeah, this one just kind of goes
Michael
on for a
Dudikoff.
while and doesn't
really?
really.
that was his name.
All right.
Michael Dudikoff.
What do we count the guy who
Doesn't
did
really go
Jim
anywhere.
Cotta?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right on. All right.
Like, Jim Cotta was the greatest movie because it was a guy who used gymnastics to go into the mountains and fight mentally handicapped hill folk.
Here, in fact, that's what we're practicing on the pommel
This
horse.
feels like outtakes material.
Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
What about the other Ryu?
Okay, drop that. Pants check.
Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
What about the other Ryu? The one in Street Fighter?
No.
He's Taekwondo?
No.
Jump
yeah.
change?
He was like karate, which is, as Archer said, the Dane Cook of martial arts. Red Fox? From,
Red Fox! I'm coming, Elizabeth, to kill you!
You never watched that show, so I super don't get the reference. I feel like wrong generation. I don't understand at all. I think it's funny. I just don't get it, which makes me a little hesitant to use this because I think it could be kind of funny if it's like, oh, let's name all of the ninjas that we know, and they name off some big ninja names, and then they get to this gaff, and then they kind of like that's a funny stinger to go from cold open to title card. But because I don't really understand, I think there's gonna be a lot of other people on YouTube who don't understand, who are even younger than I am, who just don't get it. So that one might not resonate, even though I think structurally it's pretty good. If a bit long, I'd have to cut it down a lot.
You big dummy! You dishonored my dojo! Didn't you just have a dojo? I don't even know if they do. It's a junkyard. Dishonor my junkyard! What was your favorite ninja movie in the 80s?
Oh, dude, it had to be...
Because like every other movie in the 80s was a ninja movie.
Yeah, but you know what? Ninjas were always... Ninjas are supposed to be like the most terrifying dark forces of night, right? They're the stormtrooper of martial arts things. They're always... You always get someone like Schwarzenegger punching them all and fending them off.
Inverse ninja rule.
Go on.
Have you never heard of that?
No.
The more ninjas there are, the less effective they are.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. Welcome to the internet. It's a thing.
All right, let's
It's
do
only
it.
slightly less important than Godwin's Law and
Thanks,
Rule
yeah.
43.
The cocktail ones are really weird because I don't drink, and I'm the one who has to put those together. So it's the kind of thing where it's like I have to go look up everything after every episode because I don't know how to spell anything. I don't know what anything is. But it actually kind of works to my advantage in some ways in that I know a lot of the terms that are important to tell the viewer what that means, because obviously there are a lot of people out there who just don't drink either, but they kind of like watching it because they learn something about it, and that's kind of my perspective as well.
So if ninjas are supposed to be so badass, how come every action hero is able to punch off hordes of them?
Brian, it's the inverse ninja rule. The more ninjas there are, the less effective they are.
Because it spreads out their power?
Sure, I guess.
It's the stormtrooper rule as well?
It's the Highlander rule.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like that one might be okay. It has good delivery, but not like a good punch out right at the end.
Ninja, like ever. Wrong, it's me. Me, bitch. Me.
I think that one's really funny. I don't know.
How many ninjas can you name?
All of them. Except for the ones that were never discovered.
Shinobi.
Shinobi, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo,
Okay, yeah.
Leonardo.
All right, yeah,
Sho Kasugi,
Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Trevor's the best.
Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow, you beat me to it.
Jinx,
Yeah.
also from G.I. Joe.
The American Ninja?
The American Ninja, Michael Dudikoff.
Oh, really?
That was his name.
All right.
Michael Dudikoff.
What do we count the guy who did Jim Kata?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right on. All right.
So like I could even see some of these things and then jumping over to, and then kind of cutting out with this.
Absolutely.
Right on. All right.
Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
What about the other Ryu? The one in Street Fighter?
No.
He's Taekwondo?
No.
Jump change?
He was like karate, which is, as Archer said, the Dane Cook of martial arts. Red Fox? From
Red Fox! I'm coming, Elizabeth, to kill you!
You big dummy! You dishonored my dojo!
So that would go outtakes for sure, right here.
Oh, dude, it had to be...
Because like every other movie in the 80s was a ninja movie.
Ninjas are supposed to be like the most terrifying dark forces of night, right?
I don't think
they're
this
the
will make the cut.
stormtrooper of martial arts things. They're always... You always get in fending them off.
Inverse ninja rule.
Go on.
Have you never heard of that?
No.
The more ninjas there are, the less effective they are.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. Welcome to the internet. It's a thing.
All right, let's
It's
do
only
it.
slightly less important.
So I'll throw that in outtakes, even though it probably won't even make the cut for outtakes. It's probably more deserved of burned takes, but I'll leave it there for now.
How come every action hero is able
So yeah,
to
this
punch
one
off
was
hordes
good
of them?
delivery, not good conclusion.
Brian, it's the inverse ninja rule. The less effective they are.
Because it spreads out their power?
Sure, I guess.
Is it the stormtrooper rule as well?
It's the Highlander rule.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that first one for now. And then if it just doesn't really vibe well, then we can change it. But
Who's your favorite?
I assume this is track 3, which would be Jason.
Ninja, like ever. Who's your favorite ninja? Like ever. Wrong, it's me. Me.
Yeah, all I know about Sanford and Son is the theme song. I'm very familiar with the theme song, but other than that, I don't really know anything about it.
Wrong, it's me. Me, bitch. Me.
Obviously we'd have to censor that, but
Me, bitch. Me.
that's pretty funny. Okay, we can drop these down.
Who's your favorite ninja? Like ever.
I'd say even drop this down a little bit as well.
Who's your favorite ninja? Like ever. Wrong, it's me.
Maybe make this a little bit a little bit more abrupt.
Wrong. It's me. Me, bitch. Me.
See how that sounds with the sensor.
Me.
I like to keep like a couple frames of the beginning of the curse word and maybe a couple frames of the end, just so that way it's really clear what it is, but it's still technically censored. So we would drop that out. We would do assets, sound effects, bars and tone. Although this is quick enough, we might not even use bars and tone. Negative 20 dB transmission over. Okay.
Me. 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 Me.
How many ninjas?
And maybe cut out this.
Jinx.
Elizabeth to kill you.
I think that works better as a whole, so let's take the whole thing over to outtakes. Okay. So we have a cold open. First step down. Come on. There we go. Sanford and Son theme on a jazz album? That sounds kind of cool. I'd be down with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this to... First we're going to take this, center it, so that way it stays centered. Homemade shuriken or DIY shuriken? I guess let's do homemade, because then that doesn't implicate us in advocating that people make weaponry, which is probably going to be a big thing this episode. Just a lot of disclaimer of, hey, check your local and state laws, because these can and will be considered weapons.
Who's your favorite ninja, like ever? Wrong. It's me. 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 Cause I'm a modern rogue!
I think that works pretty well.
Cause I'm...
Maybe even bleed this in a little bit into the title. I am gonna pause that though. Sorry. But I approve. Okay, so I still don't know what we're doing with this title card. It is what it is right now, but I always kind of change it a little bit every episode, just a little bit. And one day I would love to scrap it and do something completely different. But I guess I'm letting this absorb for a little bit, and before we change it, sort of like the last one. The last one I wanted to change pretty quickly after we started it, but I don't know, that one stuck around for a year. So, okay, so this is Brian. This is Brian's channel. I'm going to pull it down, say 7 dB.
Cause I'm a modern...
Okay, this is Brian's echo. I'm going to pull this down 4 dB. That one could be a little bit louder. This is the guitar. I'm going to pull that down 6 dB. Let's even pull that down 2 more. I really like that. I posted a thing on Twitter not too long ago. That was just this, I want to say. which I think is really good. We might even have wind. Let's see. There. Yeah. Which I think is really great, and people responded really well to it, so I've been kind of leaning in that direction by like slowly pulling out more and more of Brian's "'Cause I'm a Modern Rogue" and the guitar thing, but there is something like really catchy about saying like setup, punchline, and then double punchline with the "because I'm a modern rogue," and people seem to really, really like and respond to that, and I think it's fine. I would just like to do better at some point. But it is a fun little thing. Okay, so hey, would you look at that? We're almost down to an hour of footage left, almost. So let's get some real work done here. It is good, right?
I'm a modern rogue.
It's like without the guitar and Brian, it's like super ominous. Or maybe not super ominous, but it is ominous. It feels kind of like this weird, like almost post-apocalyptic kind of thing. Somebody, I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Somebody mentioned it in the comments. They were saying, "Oh, I wonder how they got the shot." So we shot this with a drone, a DJI Inspire 1, and you can't see it because I'm real good. But Bryce and I are standing right here as we're operating the drone, so that way we can keep direct line of visibility. We're right here, but I painted us out. Fancy VFX, which actually I have shown it on a stream before, but let's see if I can pull that up right quick. So something like right here. We can drop all these out, drop that off. So we're right in this area. There we go. Look at that. Mystery solved. Okay. Back to it. Oh, that's a good idea. Do a new intro for the next YouTube milestone, which is 500,000 subs. Maybe. And there's also, I mean, we'll actually probably get there pretty quickly, especially if we have a long tail on this Nigerian email scam episode, which blew up and is at, last I saw, was it at like 600,000 views or something? It's quite up there. It's gotten us, I want to say, a little over 20,000 subscribers in the past week. 660,000 views. So that's done well for us. I was also thinking about hopefully getting a thing done by the time we go over to 2 episodes a week, which we are definitely looking to do. It's just kind of a logistical problem right now. But I feel like that would be a really good natural time to integrate a new intro if we had one at that point. Who knows?
All right, so we're making shuriken, right?
Sure, you can pronounce it that way if you want.
All right, so we're making shuriken, right?
Sure, you can pronounce it that way if you want.
I'm bad.
I
with
am too.
words.
I don't know if you pronounce it that way.
Okay. All right, yeah, let's start with that. So, first of all, are they called shuriken, ninja stars, throwing stars, Chinese stars? What is it?
There's certainly.
First of all, are they called shuriken, ninja stars, throwing stars, Chinese stars? What is it?
They're certainly not Chinese stars. Kind of racist. They're Japanese in origin.
Okay, all right.
All right. They're called shuriken, but that covers a broad variety of things. We're going to make a variety of them called Hika shuriken, I think, or
Okay.
shaken.
A shuriken, as I understand it, is any small bladed object that you have in your hand, right? And oftentimes it would be like maybe like 4 nails and a cross, basically, that you could jab someone with or make caltrops out of.
Yeah, they didn't get these at a kiosk in the mall.
Oh man, but we did when we were kids.
Whoa, yeah.
That was always the mark of a bad kid in my neighborhood. Was like he's got Chinese throwing stars. And we were racist back then, apparently. But then I found out last week that my wife was one of those kids that had it. She apparently was practicing on the side of the house, and by the time her dad got out, he was just sort of like, well, there's already holes all over it, might as well, and just joined her.
Knowing where your wife grew up, that doesn't surprise me at all. She probably needed those to survive. But yeah, they could have been anything. They would make them out of coins or nails fused together. They couldn't buy them at the mall or at a machinist or anything like that. These things were disposable weapons that weren't meant to kill.
Well, and that's the thing I never understood is movies go out of their way to act like they're deadly weapons, and you have to hit the eyes always from a distance.
Because the blades are usually like this, and throwing a blade that small that will pierce someone's skull or into their heart, pretty tough.
Probably not going to happen. Yeah. So this is a weapon of harassment, a way during kind of guerrilla warfare for you to distract attention. And the story that I heard is that when it went by and sliced you, because there was no person there, it was as though an invisible swordsman.
And that's the translation for shuriken, is sword that is hidden in the hand,
Oh, right on.
which I would have thought something else.
I just realized where you're headed.
No! This is terrible. This is bad. It's going in the outtake. That's definitely. Wah, wah, wah. Hey, yeah, dick jokes. Let's.
He's right. He's right.
Sword that is hidden in the hand,
Oh, right on.
which I would have thought something else.
I just realized where you're headed.
No!
How do we make?
All right, let's dump that in outtakes. Back at it.
Let's see.
This is that process of good scripting. Let's see.
Let's see.
Do you need a cleaner version of any of that, or is there enough to work with? Okay. All right. All right. How do we make one?
Okay, it's so.
All right. How do we make one?
Okay, it's so easy. And I know, yes, that I always say that, but it really is.
It rarely has turned out to be easy.
I know.
Every time you say it.
No, this is really easy.
Okay, what are these?
Okay, these are grip right fasteners. I think you use them in roofing.
Yeah. You know what it is? This is you hammer a thing through, and then this blocks out all the rain and stuff on there.
Oh, sure, yeah. You can get these at your local hardware store. Just little silver discs, and they're really flimsy. So these stars are going to be flimsy. They're not going to be deadly, but they
That's
are.
okay, because I too am flimsy and not deadly.
They're going to be better than the paper ones you used to make as a kid. Remember
Oh,
those?
those were dope, man.
Yeah, never figured out how to make them.
But there was always some kid that had them all folded, and then they. Never mind. Go ahead.
I would take some and then put needles in them.
You're a bad person.
Yeah, I did time.
All right. So what
Okay.
shape are we doing?
All right, so you're just going to take your disc here, and you're going to cut. Don't cut all the way into the center. Did you already start cutting?
I did. Give me another one.
Damn it, Brian. There's a method.
Okay. I just assumed cut it into the shape of a snowflake. We're making snowflakes.
Okay, so you're going to cut it at 4 different places, and you're not going to cut into the center. You still need to leave a center mass, right?
Okay. Right.
So just do 4 cuts at 90-degree angles.
So make it into a square.
This isn't as good of an angle as I was hoping
You just
it
do
would
like
be.
this.
Oh, got it. You're perpendicular cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? There's this natural grain on there too that makes it easy to follow.
Yeah, this is really, really easy from what it looked like, but I haven't tried it yet.
Famous last words.
I know.
All right.
Okay, let me get this one a little bit more. Okay, now, on these 4 wedges,
Yep.
cut another wedge into each of those, right in the middle.
Just bisect it, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do have pickups of this cutting process, so I'll have to interweave those into this section. But luckily, this is an easy enough cutting pattern that I could just make an on-screen diagram if I really needed to, which I might do anyways, just for sake of clarity.
Where'd you find this?
We'll
this
figure
was
that
an
out later.
instructable, actually. And again, these aren't going to be effective weapons.
Well, first of all, the shuriken itself is not an effective weapon, right?
Super disposable and lo-fi, just like these.
As a matter of fact, like katanas you can find nowadays because they're well preserved, because they were valued and handed down through generations. Because shuriken are disposable weapons of harassment, they the ones you find, they're all rusted and banged up and no good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to take each of these tabs, every other tab, and fold it in.
We're gonna make one of those things that you put candles over and it spins
Oh,
around.
yeah,
It looks
exactly.
like it. All right,
Hey,
sorry.
you know that thing about throwing stars? We're not doing that at all.
Forget that. All right, what am I doing?
You're just taking every other tab and folding it in.
All right. Oh, so got close.
To cutting yourself?
No. My hands are the, oh my
Again?
God, they killed Kenny of the show. Dude, just like that and it's done?
You can go with that, or cut little points into them.
So just cut them. Oh, I'm gonna do a curved blade.
Oh,
Ready.
good call.
So these aren't even like fancy scissors. We're just using garbage,
Yeah,
regular
just
paper scissors.
Regular one. Yeah, because these things are so flimsy. And those points, you can actually get them pretty sharp, right? Yeah. And of course, if you're a psychopath, you can file these edges down to be razor sharp.
All right, let's not rage shame anyone. I don't know.
Rage shame?
I don't know.
Hey, people need their outlets, Murphy.
You know what? My curved thing is not working as well as I hope.
It's a little difficult, right?
So
But
this
it
will
is
all be cut way
surprisingly
down.
easy to fix it afterwards. Like that. Look at that. Look at how tight, how sharp that is.
That's pretty rad.
It's gonna poke an eye out.
The only thing is there's no heft, so maybe our next build should be like two stacked on top of each other.
Or maybe put a coin in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I don't know how much. Well, to be honest, this feels to me like it wants to be closest to card throwing, because there's a whole technique to card throwing that I think would apply to a paper thin
Okay.
shuriken.
Yeah, see, these are kind of ridiculous, but those points are sharp, and you shouldn't throw them at anyone, but they don't have any heft. But if we were to put a coin in there, that could be pretty cool. In fact, I think we should do
in
that.
fact, you do that on yours. I'm going to go without. I'm going to say, I actually think
I use the hammer.
this want to be. It's great.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I was gonna
I
say,
often narrate my own actions.
I use the hammer. I love
I
lamp.
used a hammer.
I love lamp. No. And you use the hammer to flatten down the other tabs as you fold them in.
Got it. If only I had a hammer. The wherewithal to explain what I was doing.
Do you have a coin we could use?
I don't. I may. Oh, you know what? We could take one of the challenge coins.
Ooh. Are these going to be big enough?
I don't know. Great questions, all of these. Here it is. Here's the #1 Rogues Tavern coin. Too big?
No. Yeah, it's too big.
Okay.
I think it's going to have to be a quarter.
All right, so. Man. Is that all
Oh,
right?
that's cool.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, let me try. So I guess to throw it here, before we do the coin, let me try throwing this the way I would throw a card. Oh, yeah, like, don't do anything interesting. Stop it. Okay. I'm gonna try to hit the. Eye protection.
Yeah, they're up here.
By the way, this was the first day in all of Modern Rogue that we've had eye protection for everybody, not just Brian and Jason. But Jason went and bought 2 more for Bryce and I, which is great.
Thank you, sir.
We didn't put them on until the very end of the episode, but this is the first time
thank you.
we've had
All right.
eye protection as well.
Hang on.
Never forget.
All right. So when you're throwing.
It only took months of us like saying, "No, we need to be safe on this job. We don't have health benefits. You need to give us stuff so that we don't die while we're operating the cameras."
Throwing a playing card.
Like the episode where you guys literally threw knives at us.
All right. So when you're throwing a playing card, you want.
Yeah, they're up here.
Card. You want to keep. All right, so when you're throwing a playing card, you want to keep it kind of loosely gripped between your first 2 fingers, and you're not actually throwing it and trying to time it. That's the mistake everybody makes. Instead, you're going to hold it loose enough that the very act of your motion will cause the momentum to fling it forward, right?
Yeah.
And then you get, oh, fling it forward, right?
Yeah.
And then you get, oh. That was a bounce. That bounced. It went right in. That's amazing.
That's cool.
All right, let me try again. Here, I'll try.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, here we go,
Try
here we
that
go,
one.
Here we go. Ready? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so.
Okay, that's actually pretty fun. I mean, these things are super light and flimsy, but
Yeah, and I guess this one has kind of a swirl pattern to it. So you picture this. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Boo. Ooh. So let's try that one more time. So it does get bent up pretty fast. Okay. You ready? Failure. I'm a bad ninja.
oh, very cool.
All right, hold on. Where did it go? Yep. All right, let me do another. I keep going down too low. I want a bullseye. Oh, jeez. All right, I'm afraid of hitting you.
Sure.
All right, right?
Yeah, blame me. That's good.
Man,
Close.
every time
Warmer.
it's bouncing though. Okay, all right, I'm feeling it. Ah. There we go. I'm calling that good enough. I poked an eye out.
That's good.
All right, here, give it a try.
All right.
Here, you want to make some more
Uh,
with more heft?
oh yeah, yeah. Let's do it with. I've put these coins in there. I've got a quarter, a nickel, and a dime. We'll try that.
Oh, by the way, here, in fact, actually, here, let's do this. We might do this out of order. These, I don't know what order we'll do it. So these guys are super flimsy. This one has a little more heft. Feel the difference in the material on this stuff,
Yeah.
right? So these are just cut into the shape of cards. And because if you know how to throw cards, I want to see how it looks and feels throwing these, I don't know, card shuriken. All right, ready? Whoops. Feels like damaging the warehouse. Oh, that's got the heft.
That was a pretty
Try-
satisfying
here.
thwack.
Give it a try. Give it a try. Try all of them. Try all of them.
Okay, I'm probably not even gonna hit the damn thing.
Okay, so again, okay, so
like
your,
so?
your grip is right there in the middle. You're not going to be able to get it. You
Okay.
want to barely bite the edge.
Just right
so
on the
that
tip?
again, and then you're just going to do this sidearm thing. You're never going to let go.
Okay.
Your fingers will, like, imagine you had goo on your hands and you're trying to get it out. Your mucus. Ugh.
Yep.
That's what you wanna
happens
do.
Probably twice a day. Okay.
Okay, you're throwing it like a frisbee, which you don't want to do.
Yeah,
You want it. You're flicking off goo. There we go.
It was a terrible shot, but it was a
Not-
much
so
better
it's
throw.
Here, try it with this one. Try
Okay.
it with the card.
Oh. You're talking about cams, and I thought I was like, oh, a question on cameras.
Throw.
Here, try it with this one. Try it with the card.
Right here.
Now you're talking.
That felt good. That felt like I hurt someone. I mean, that doesn't feel. Okay, it kind of felt good. Let's do it again. Now, Brian, you scream in pain whenever I make contact.
Do you want to explain what that is?
Ow.
I'm sorry. I think you.
We kinda
sheet
glossed
metal.
over
yeah,
that,
Yeah. I mean, do we need to?
Yes.
Okay.
You said here's the thing, wingman.
All right.
You can use this. Like you gotta explain what it is.
So this stuff is just sheet metal, and then we cut.
We kind of
sheet
glossed
metal.
over
yeah,
that.
Yeah. So this stuff is just sheet metal, and then we cut. This is just sheet metal cut into the shape of a card because I'm more familiar with throwing cards.
And where can you get these foam boards at?
It's good.
Probably any sports.
I don't know where this one came from. Foam, but you should. Well, I kind of don't want to tip. Yep.
Yep.
Just gonna cut that out. Yoink.
Good store, right?
No.
Boards at.
Sorry, Jason. Yoink. Okay.
Because I'm more familiar with throwing cards.
Do we need to do a weighted one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. So now we're at the point where we've got a functional build. We've had success. I feel like we have to get experimental and decide, is it better weighted or is it better not?
Okay.
And then we can offer our proclamation.
All right. So.
Also, the original, I had come up with an idea for the demonstration of these that we did something similar to, but not exactly the same as. And I'll let you guys know what the original idea was after we get through the actual end demonstration phase, which looks like it will be a while.
All right. Here, let's try some. Whoops. So if we were to do a weighted one, throwing cards. So if we were to do a weighted one, would we want to double these up or just put coins in them?
Both, right?
Yeah, we'll test it.
How about you just try to throw one as is?
Oh, geez.
Right?
Do I need eye protection?
Yeah.
Dude, these are dope. Hold on.
That's pretty cool.
Just
I didn't
as
expect
is.
that.
Just as is. Oh! Here, yep. Oh, man. Dude, this is better. If you just want target practice, here, let's put this behind it.
Yeah, so it punctures the thing.
There you go. No. Yeah. Here, let's secure it with, I don't know, something.
We've got some glue, but well, it'll take a while.
Here, let's use the eye protection to secure it on each sides.
I'll just hold it. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, ready?
Nice.
Wow. 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 Oh,
That's satisfying.
Why are we bothering to even make them shark?
know.
These are amazing. These are called grip right fasteners, dude. And plus, like, feel the weight of them in your hand. Put on the goggles. Just hold it. Let me go to town.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get out of the way. How about that? No?
No, I mean you hold it.
Oh.
Physically hold it. Be in the way.
Jesus Christ. Are you serious?
Here, put on the mask.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
There
you'll
we
be
go.
fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Hang on.
Oh man, and the way they feel in your hand, just by itself, is great. They got this heft. I'm gonna take all these. All right, ready?
Ready.
Oh, you're not gonna hold it in front of you? Let me try to get a chest shot. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right, ready?
Ready.
Oh, you're not gonna hold it in front of you? Let me try to get a chest shot. Come on.
Ready. Ready.
Oh, you're not gonna hold it in front of you? Let me try to get a chest shot. Come on. There we go. There we go. It itself is great. They got this heft.
It's been quite a process in teaching Brian and Jason how to handle these kinds of situations, because Brian comes from a background of shows and videos where you just talk, and when you just talk, you kind of point the camera at the person who's talking, and the person who's talking just talks, and they don't move around too much, and really all the camera has to focus on is the face. And it's really simple, but Modern Rogue takes up a lot more physical space, especially with demonstrations like this, where you have a big space that something is happening in, and then you also have cameras that are trying to track action and motion, and it's like we have to focus on Brian because Brian's talking. We have to focus on Jason because Jason might be talking, and they're the host of the show, but also we have to focus on these, and we have to focus on the action from when Brian releases it till it hits the target, and especially when it's like you're moving around to where we didn't frame for at the beginning, because the beginning was just talking, and then there was a building section, and the building section requires cameras that are like pointing down at this table, which we're not even utilizing at this point. And it's like there are a bunch of different segments that require different framing and composition. So whenever it's like, okay, this is clearly like a segment break, we need to move all of the cameras. Brian and Jason, you guys need to stop and just don't do anything, don't say anything, just get to where you're going to be, and then we will set it up for you. And we've had mixed results, but I think they're both getting better at it. But it's definitely the kind of thing where I have to go, okay, now remember, if something is going to happen, you need to stop and check with us first, because there have been a couple situations where it's like, oh, they just kind of go off and they just like get wrapped up in the moment and they just go for it. And I'm like, we can't take that back. We need that genuine reaction. We need that action, that thing actually happening on camera. But that's what
In your
this
hand,
process
it
is.
feels like a slink. In your hand, it feels like a slinky. That's about the thickness of the wire. That's about the thickness of the metal here. And it's like I feel like I'm holding a circular deck of cards. I feel like I was meant for this moment.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think any of these will cut you, but I think they're going to feel really good to throw at you. All right, ready?
Ready.
Oh! Oh!
Thanks for waiting
Oh. Oh.
Ow!
Did that hurt?
Hurt my ears, if you know what I mean, because that was loud. Once more. Actually, while I'm right here, let me drop that down a little bit.
Ow!
Did that hurt? Was it bad? No.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh my God, I'm Gambit. I was meant for this.
Ow!
God, did that?
And this is also a situation where it's like, okay, we had everything framed for where Brian was and where Jason was, and Jason didn't move, but then Brian started moving and started getting further and further out of frame, which that actually happens in Scam School a lot as well. Less now that we have a person who is actually operating the master camera for Scam School, but we don't have that for Modern Rogue. So
I was meant for this.
Ow!
God, did that hurt? Okay. Okay. All right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
Damn it!
Did it hurt? Okay. Wow. Oh, did that hurt? Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm trying to get it. Oh. Oh, this is a million times superior to even bothering to make them sharp on the edges. That is amazing. Could do this all day. Oh, it's okay. Okay, we're good.
All right. I have a challenge for you that doesn't involve throwing stuff at me.
All right, here, you could do it. I'll trade.
No. I have a challenge for you.
All right, what's that?
Hang on.
Dude, look at that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, all right.
see, it's a situation of us going, okay, we're going back into talking mode. Hold on, we have to reset everything because otherwise all of you guys are going to be out of frame in all of our cameras. We need to like reestablish a sense of normalcy and get everything set back in place. So you need to just not do anything. Just get where you're going to be and don't do anything. Have you thought about using stuff like GoPros as basically backup cameras? No, not really. We've kind of gone back and forth on the idea of a GoPro kind of situation for shows. I've had really weird mixed results with GoPros. I know a lot of people love them, but I've had like GoPros that die really quickly. Like I've got a GoPro Hero 4 Black that won't work unless you update the firmware, and it can't update the firmware, so it just doesn't work. It like locks up 3 seconds after starting it or so. It's a real mess, and I've had weird issues with GoPros in the past. I think they're kind of invaluable tools for situations that ask for them, because you can kind of do things with GoPros that you can't do with pretty much any other camera. But I've personally had mixed results. It's not a terrible idea, but also you have to consider the fact that it's like, how much footage are we already burning through with this episode? So this is 2 episodes, but 2 episodes is 230 gigs of footage, and I don't really want to add any more footage than we need to. And I'm kind of tasked with managing like data management stuff on the back end and archiving all of the footage and project assets and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm really cognizant of, and it's like, really, how often are we going to use it? Especially if most of the episode is pretty well captured by these cameras that have nice lenses and are nice cameras and look good. Then it's like, why would we ever use the GoPro footage if it looks good here, right? So, I mean, it's something to think about, but it's not super high on the list of priorities. How does it feel to be the adult in the room? Well, I've felt like that my entire life. 230 gigs, yep. And that will also inflate with like cached renders and stuff. But all of those cached renders and things get trashed at some point, so those don't carry over. But that is 230 gigs that we shot on that day. Yeah.
Look at that.
And that's a little bit higher than usual because this episode we had up to 5 cameras at certain points. Usually we only have 3. So it's a little bit higher than usual, but not like way higher. And that's 2 episodes. Yeah, a Modern Rogue episode. Hi, Spice Man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, all right.
So you can see us all getting ready here. And especially with this camera, this is the camera that I was operating. This has an 85 millimeter lens on it, so we're shooting in our shared warehouse space, and I am at the back end of the warehouse. So if you saw the yoink, surveillance episode, exports,
And in fact,
towards the back end. So like Brian is kind of over in this space,
the mic,
right?
probably.
Him and Jason are over here. Hey, look, there's the target. Whereas I am back. Let's see if I can find it. So Bryce is kind of where this tripod is right now, which is like to the left of here. It's kind of, yeah. I am way back here, basically, like right by this chair. So I'm pretty far back. Also, pretty slick editing here. This is, for whatever reason, there's a giant banner that has a bunch of like contact information about the people who we share the warehouse with, and I totally blotted all that out the last minute. That was an episode that went up like 4 hours late because of a bunch of different reasons, but then I was uploading it and saw that and went, oh god, okay, I probably need to fix that. Anyway, so when we're like adjusting and resetting cameras and stuff, this one is so far back that it kind of matters a lot.
You want to see if you can hit some moving targets?
ooh.
230 gigs. Yeah, so that's total. That's all 5 cameras put together or so. We can drill that down a little bit. So yeah, that's everything that we shot on that day, right? So this is a recent development in my hierarchy of data management stuff. Is I would have everything split up into folders based on which card shot what footage, but now I also group it into shoot days, which I think is good. So we drill into the shoot days. We see all of the cards that were used on that shoot day for whichever episode. I could probably also say, here's everything from Modern Rogue 062, and here's everything from Modern Rogue 063. But sometimes cards go multiple episodes, and that just wouldn't work very well. So we've got all of these cards. We've got the spy cam, which was using the surveillance. Not a lot of data. We have the A7S, which I don't know how much that is. Okay, so that's 36 gigs. Some of that's 4K, some of that's not 4K. And then we've got a detail shot, which is GH2. We have both Bryce, both Brants. Those are GH2s. We have both Masters, which are shooting in 4K from the GH4. And then we have audio from the Zoom H6, which is not a lot. Most of this is probably going to be in the Master. 41 gigs. 35 gigs. And stuff like this is going to be like 20, 15 gigs. So that's that. No, 230 gigs for one camera. That's not the case. If we were shooting something like, if we were shooting a less compressed thing, or if we were shooting in ProRes, because ProRes is a pretty high bitrate encoding, I think. I don't know. I've never done that. It's not nearly the file sizes of shooting RAW, but I don't even want to know like what kind of data rates you're running through with RAW video. Not very many cameras do it, for one, but yeah, it all depends on what your encoding is on your camera. Most cameras these days, most like consumer cameras, do like 100 megabits per second as sort of their high quality option. So that's sort of what we run with typically. I actually have all of our cards right here. So we've got like 64 gigs and 32 gig cards. 80 megabits per second. No, 80 megabytes per second. Sorry. Otherwise, it would be really bad if you're recording more than it could take. All right, see you, Waffleophagus.
Dude, look at that.
Back
Hang
into
on.
Hey, we're under an hour. Look at that.
Hang on.
Why not? Let's go.
See if you can hit some moving targets.
Ooh, yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
Okay. Don't have any helium.
Well, here, I bet, yeah, this will definitely pop. You can just throw it.
Okay, so basically what they're about to do is they're gonna blow up a bunch of balloons. So I guess we could cut out a lot of that. That'll help cut down on time. This will actually probably be like a 20-minute episode, all things considered. Maybe. I guess we'll find out. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna blow up a bunch of balloons. Jason is gonna toss them up in the air, and then Brian is gonna throw the shuriken or the discs or whatever and try to pop the balloon in the air, right? And then I think we also have, there was some debate about whether we should do it or not. It was a fun idea that we came up with the night before, because I was like, this episode is kind of lacking. Like, it's just not enough. We need something kind of goofy, something that sort of brings its own take. So Jason brought a slingshot, and they're going to load up the slingshot with the shuriken and then fire it at the balloons, which is pretty good. My original idea was to fill the balloons with a flammable gas. I forget what are some good ones, but we had a couple of ideas. And then what I wanted, if you remember our thermite episode, our cooking steaks with thermite episode, we had these, what were they, magnesium strips? These strips of metal that you light and they burn really bright and really hot. And so I wanted them to attach the magnesium strips to the shuriken, light it, because those stay lit for pretty good, you know? So theoretically, throwing the shuriken, they would stay lit. You could throw the shuriken that's on fire, that's sparking. You could pop the balloon, and then it would catch fire in this burst of flame. I thought that would be a really great idea, and it kind of never came together, unfortunately. But I think the slingshot idea is really dumb in a way that I think people will like.
This will definitely pop. You can just throw it.
So
all right, so here's my question.
we're gonna
to you.
figure out the shot, though, right?
Yeah. Here, we could just inflate these. Let's talk out the, all right, so I predict that the circular ones will not break.
Maybe do these in 2 separate blocks. Maybe just talk it out for.
Oh, sure.
Okay. That was a great moment, though. With your comically wilting boner.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think's gonna happen on?
In two separate blocks. And maybe just
Circular ones will not break.
Hi, Kuhan. Obligatory answer of whenever somebody decides to provide us with an RSS feed. That's not my specialty. I've never made an RSS feed, and I'm too busy to make it myself. Also, I'm glad that you have that unique subreddit flair. You're the only person with the RSS subreddit flair. I'm very proud of myself for giving you that. But also, hi.
Let's talk out the. All right. So I predict. All right. So what do you think's gonna happen on Balloon?
Pop.
All right. So what do you think's gonna happen on balloons?
I think these could still pop them.
Yeah,
right?
I think so too.
But
But
these
these.
definitely.
Definitely.
I feel you. I feel you.
Well, yeah.
No, there's no fields in this warehouse. Although I could totally see people being really upset because they'd be like, "You're playing with fire, and there's a whole bunch of cardboard and boxes around you," which is like true.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And by the way, inflate the balloons nice and big if you want them easy to pop. That's a trick that the old carnies would use, is they would underinflate the balloons.
Oh, yeah?
And so when you threw a dart, they would just bounce off of them.
Really? There's a modern rogue we need to do. Carney tricks.
Oh my gosh, Modern Reel goes to the carnival? How great would that be? Modern Reel carny trash.
One time, James won a Carney game. And as we were leaving, like, some douchebag in like a Porsche or something saw us walking out with one of the big stuffed animal. And he was like some guy with feathered hair and a polo shirt. You know, he looked like an 80s villain. He saw James and he goes, "If I see you near that game again, I'm gonna kick your ass."
It just touched the edge of one of them.
They're very sharp.
That's amazing.
They're very sharp.
Oh, it was the owner, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Dude, these are going to pop so easy. It's going to be great. Okay, moving target.
Do we need more?
Yeah, I think we're good. All right.
Okay.
Here.
All right, let's cut that off there.
One time, James.
And all that can go to outtakes. I think that so Open Bayou brought this up. I think this is outdated. I looked into RSS feeds for YouTube channels before, and I think this is outdated. I don't think it works anymore. I could be wrong, but I remember hearing that there was a thing you could do with pulling from YouTube's back end and getting an RSS feed, but I don't think it works anymore. I think that changed at some point.
Do we need more?
Yeah, I think we're good. All right.
Okay.
Here, send a. Okay, you. Toss it, and I'll just try to get it in midair.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think this is when I turned on the A7S.
We still
think.
need the close-up shot of how this ended up.
okay.
Do we?
Okay.
I think they actually end up pulling all of those out before, or some of them out before we actually got this pickup.
Got it. Just toss him. I'm gonna try to hit him midair.
Yeah, so this was tricky because I knew that. So at this point, I realized, hey, this is a detail shot. Has basically been capturing nothing for the past 15 minutes. So I'm gonna move it so that way it can kind of get something useful over here ish.
I love how angry people get that we don't talk to the camera like YouTubers normally.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
I love how angry people get that we don't talk to the camera like YouTubers normally do. I love it. I'm like, yeah, because you don't fucking matter. This is about the joy we're experiencing fucking around.
Yeah, some people get like really upset. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, people get upset about a lot of things. Weird. People get upset that our videos end up in their recommendation system. Which is like, we don't have control over that. Why are you yelling at us? Go send an email to YouTube support. Or watch different videos.
Just toss him. I'm gonna try to hit him midair.
Okay, so we can dump that. Yeah, so with the A7S, if I remember correctly, I had my Canon 24 to 70 millimeter, and I was trying to like get a close up of the balloon as it was falling in slow motion while Brian hits it with the shuriken. I don't remember if any of it worked out
So
very well.
we met the new star of the Modern Rogue today.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did he say how old he was?
11.
It's an 11-year-old. He's Steve Wolf's son. Who doesn't go to school. He just learns all the science of blowing shit up and stunt driving.
There's got to be some other education going on.
I'm
there,
sure.
right?
Well, I mean, there's some
So it
kind
looks
of
like the
amount of
focus
shit
is
you
right
gotta
here.
pass, and I'm sure learn proper English along the way.
He was a sharp kid.
No, he was. Yeah.
Was that the punchline? Or did he show you something cool? Or
No, he walked up before Steve did. He just walked up. He was like, "Brian, Jason, good to meet you." He led the conversation. All the clips he showed, he was great on camera. And then he's like, "Well, here I am doing," and he's doing
And a sniper rifle.
yeah. And then he's like, "Yeah, we just got done shooting 308s all day." And it's like,
It was
wow.
crazy. I was like, who are you?
So this is tough because I know that. So I ended up going. So this camera's kind of over here. I ended up going to the left of this camera to use the A7S to kind of get like an over the shoulder of Brian throwing the shuriken. I think. I know at some point I did. I might have been closer to the master camera at some point as well. But I know this shot right here from the 85 millimeter is going to be pretty useless for most of this. And it was far enough away that I couldn't go over and change it. I really should have changed the lens that was on it to get a wider field of view and then just kind of set it up as a wide cross shooting the master. But there was a lot going on and I was like, okay, everything's rolling. I just need to go and
right.
figure out what's
We ready?
happening.
We feeling it? So what do we start with first? You think the circular ones, or we'll do the pokey ones? We know are gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So let's.
Did I not have the? Oh, yeah. Okay, I saw the A7S pop up there for a second, so it'll probably show up here in a minute.
So what do we start with first? You think the circular ones, or we'll do the pokey ones? We know are gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So let's do here.
Well, maybe do the ones we don't know if they're gonna work first.
Focus,
And then
Bryce, focus. Come on, dog.
ones that we know are going to work last because it's
Well, but
work.
But we don't know my skills. So okay. So here. So here's the question.
So this is when Bryce saw that I was getting the A7S out and ready. Yep, there it is.
So here's the challenge. I am.
So we could honestly probably cut out all of this for the most part, but we'll do that later.
So here's the challenge. I am much more confident and precise with the circular ones,
Okay.
right? But these are definitely going to be able to pop the balloon.
Yeah.
So the question is it'll be a contest between my aim and the pokiness to see if I can get it. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the pokiness.
Okay, right on.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do that.
Really getting some stutter here.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, go for it.
Maybe not at the light.
Yeah, let's not. Here, you know what? Here, just keep this. That one's underinflated. I feel like you're rigging the game. All
Here, I'll throw this one up.
right.
Yeah, like way to go, Jason, with maybe the single least precise way to gently toss up a balloon. Okay, that can go into outtakes.
Oh, jeez. All right, try it again. Try it again. We got this.
Come on.
Damn it! Ah. All right, hold on. Where did they go?
They're in the shelf somewhere.
Probably, yeah, lodged in the wall. Oh, here they go. They both landed right here.
The what's the woman's name that owns this place?
Can we not dox the people we work with?
She comes out of the office. I've been here the whole time.
All right, here we go. For real. All right, here we go. For reals. Ready, and. Maybe I should just try to hit one. Oh, that was awesome!
Yes.
That was great! Oh, that was.
I'm just curious to see what this will look like. Probably nothing too whoops. Nothing too ridiculous. But worth a look. So there's a shot. Let's see, speed duration. This was shot in a high frame rate, correct? Episode A7S. Yeah. So theoretically, 20 frames per second should, or 20% speed should do the trick. Yeah. It's gonna be super loud. Okay. I'm also trying not to overuse the slow motion stuff just because we can. You know, doesn't mean that we should necessarily. So I am cognizant of that, but it's just fun. You know, sometimes it's fun.
Oh! Oh, that was awesome!
Yes!
That was great!
Where did the other one go?
Right here.
Oh.
I'm really surprised. Despite getting banged up a lot, they're still effective.
Yeah, throwing this fifth camera that makes really stressing things out.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, you sit here and just
I'm using a hammer.
I'm using a hammer. I use hammer. Trogdor like hammer. All right.
All right. You want to give it a try or?
No.
Okay.
No. It's good.
By the way, I'm going to go ahead and purge memory. Oh, that's not actually that much. I must have done that recently. Save. Just free up a little bit more resource for the Premiere.
Good. It's good. I'm gonna.
All right, here we go. Throw them all up.
Hang on. Hey, it's Mexico. Okay. It's the colors of the Mexican flag, right?
I know.
Okay.
It's Ireland.
Oh, it's Ireland.
Mexico's got red.
Mexico's got red. You'd think I would know that.
Because we're Irish.
Yeah.
We're Irish.
Ancestry.com. Okay.
Is it though? Yeah, okay. Fair play.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, you sit here and just Trogdor like hammer.
You want to give it a try or?
No.
Okay.
No. It's good. It's good. I'm gonna.
All right, here we go. Throw them all up.
Hang on. Hey, it's Mexico. Okay.
You're averaging about 0.01 frames per second video. I think that's you. I'm looking at the feed over here and it looks like it's fine. And I'm looking at what OBS is outputting, and sometimes I dip a little bit below 60 frames per second. I should have just dropped it to 24 or 30, but it's at 60 because video games.
Okay.
Yeah! All right. Here, one more.
You want to try the discs now?
Now, sometimes when it's like this, that's on my end. When I have to like stop the video and wait for it to catch up, that's on my end.
One more.
You want to try the discs now?
Yeah, hold on. Let me try one more. Dude, that's really satisfying. That's great.
All right. I'm gonna
All
throw
right.
one up. You'll try the.
Yeah, we'll try the discs. I think it'll work. Nope, that didn't go.
I think it does.
Work.
I think you're just seeing what I'm seeing, dog. I could. Now, theoretically, I could take all of these videos and render out proxies, which are like low bitrate, and it would be easier for Premiere to process and it would make everything run pretty smoothly. But that takes more time than I've got, you know. And you'll also notice when I drop out of multicam, things run way smoother inherently because I'm not showing, you know, however many video feeds all at the same time.
Really satisfying. That's great.
All right. I'm going to throw one up. You'll try the...
Yeah, we'll try the discs. I think...
But I can't camera switch like that. So this first pass is going to be a little rough for you.
I think it'll work. Nope, that didn't go anywhere near close, right?
Oh!
So that might actually be interesting to see in slow motion in that it's a great face. In that it bounced off. But I think it mostly bounced off because Brian hit it like right at the bottom in a weird way. So let's take this. Let's duplicate it. That's probably the smart way to do this. So that way it is non-destructive editing. So yeah, this is good because you can just more clearly see exactly what's happening.
Oh!
No!
All right, another one.
Hey, Jason, is it possible for you to throw him a little scale? Yeah.
Right here?
Oh my God! It missed, but it's embedded in the wall now.
Yeah, I could try doing a quarter resolution. That might clear things up a tiny bit, but
Whoopsie.
Oops.
So we're not going to tell the landlord about the.
dang it, Bryce. We could get this pickup shot later if they're gonna talk.
Yeah, yeah. Shh. No one's watching.
What's watching? So that was surprising.
Yeah, no, that doesn't help, and it looks really bad.
Guys, don't tell the landlord, okay?
Be cool.
I will address the cameras, breaking our rule.
There's one guy who's like, finally.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready?
Here we go. What the heck? It made that wicked ass sound too.
Oh. Wow.
Did not see that coming.
I know.
Okay, what if we took these pieces and just taped them on? Well, then that would work, but would not be the build that we're teaching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on.
Come on.
How about this? What if we just added the ridges
Yeah, yeah.
like the initial cut, right?
Right.
But then, so you do one.
It'll give us some
opposite.
point.
Right? Enough, certainly enough to pop balloons. So now I got like a whirling pinwheel type thing with just enough pokiness that it'll pop balloons and probably wedge. Wedge itself in the wall. All right.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah!
It's probably not the best shot of that.
Yeah!
That did the trick.
Where'd it go?
It wedged, but not in the wall. It
Oh.
just got in between.
Oh, great. Okay, good. That's where we want it to wedge.
Now, wait. Hang on. Do you want to try something else?
Yes. Here comes a slingshot.
Do you want to try something else?
What else do you got?
Now, do you want to try something else?
What else do you got? That's not a good idea.
If we do this camera, then we kind of get the reveal with Brian's explanation.
That's not a good idea. It seems like set up the target. That's not a good idea. It seems like set up the target. Huh. Okay.
I'm thinking for safety's sake, we duct tape that to the end of the table
Yeah.
so that
and
we
then-
don't have the hand in the way there.
Well, okay, so here's the thing: is there actually is a trick to fling playing cards, is that you just take a rubber band and you hold it here. Here. Oh shit! We never got a close up.
Oh, we didn't?
Yeah, sorry. Here, just set it up.
Which
You
is
don't
fine.
have to.
It's not that
Yeah.
important.
So I'll get it
we
back
don't-
in there.
We don't have to fake it.
No?
Yeah, just set it there.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right. So a trick is you take a rubber band, you pinch it, and you break the rubber band. It's amazing. Here, let me do it with a card.
Card.
All right. So a trick with the card is that you just pinch it in a rubber band, and then it flies just like that, right?
Very cool.
So I would imagine the same thing works with this metal card.
Yeah. You
Alright,
think?
yeah. Not so much.
Maybe not.
All right, here we go.
It's almost like that sheet of metal is a lot heavier than a playing card.
Works, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And then, and so now I guess we should try that with the stars. Where did our stars go?
Oh, there's one down there, and the other one is.
Oh, right there.
So like all this stuff
Yeah.
is going to get cut.
Oh no, it's gotten curled. I use hammer. Yeah, see if you can just set something behind that to prop it up.
You mean to hold it again?
Man, the sharpness really does make a big difference.
Jason's pants.
Okay, so, whoop. we're all fine here. All right, so I guess I will just use the rubber band, pull it back like that? Not so much. Not so much. Yeah, we probably should bust out the.
Eye protection, goggles. That's what he's gonna say. Here in a second. Any second now.
Yeah.
Goggles for this.
Where did?
Also, before the episode got started, I said, "Hey, you're gonna want gloves for this." As often as Brian messes up his hands on the show, if you're gonna put something really sharp inside of a slingshot, you'll want gloves. Or if you're just throwing it from your hand, you'll want gloves.
Oh,
And we couldn't find the gloves for like a good 10 minutes, and then we found the gloves.
all right, here we go. Maybe. Maybe. Hold on. Still good.
Nope.
Not feeling.
Is it too light?
No,
no,
well,
I guess it wouldn't be, right?
Part of it is that it's difficult to figure out where you should line it up to. I'm going to put it way on the edge. This time. Spinning, but it's not getting any forward. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put it right in the middle.
Closer.
All right, now we're getting some.
Closer.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Oh!
Oh!
There it is.
That's what you do. Oh, that was cool. All right, here we go. We'll do it one more time just to confirm. So what I'm doing is I'm pinching it right at the middle. I'm pinching it right in the middle like I'm slingshotting a quarter is what I'm thinking of it as. Yeah. Damn. All right. We'll just
Okay.
call it that one. I can imagine no universe where flinging this at our hands is going to end well.
Right. Do you want to tape it to the end of the table? Do
Yeah,
it that way?
but more importantly, I don't know. I guess that would be a lot of force.
Is it even worth trying,
We've got a lot right now, right?
Brant?
This is the moment where I feel like they're backing down, and I go, no, because right now what we've got is you saying, hey, go out to Home Depot and buy these discs and just throw them at stuff. And that's like just not good enough. Like whether this works or not, you have to use the slingshot. You have to use it. There's no way you introduce the slingshot and not use it, or you have a slingshot here and you don't use it. Not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah, I mean, but my only major concern is that we do.
I mean, before we could sell a modern rogue tool set, we would have to use we would have to use any tool set. We would have to have any kind of gloves and eyewear, which we're getting better at, but maybe an idea down the road.
But my only major concern is that we do a brief amount of shuriken, and then it's like the whole crux of the episode is just buy these discs and throw them at things.
Don't even build it, because that's not as useful as the thing we just showed you.
Sure.
Which is a little bit deflating.
Well, but we also get the counterbalance of the discs are not able to break the balloons, and then we get the functional way to fling the shuriken in there. Which I mean, here's the problem: is we can invest a lot of time trying this, but I strongly suspect we'll not get much out of this.
At the very least, give it a couple shots, and if something happens, then something
Okay.
happens.
All right. Well,
Sure.
here. Let's just you know what?
We kind of just need like a button on all of this.
Yeah.
With the gloves, you thinking?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
All right.
So.
That's why I told him
Yeah,
to get
let's
the
get
gloves
ridiculous
before we
with it.
started the episode.
And I guess we'll start with the disc.
I was like, "There's no way! There's no way!" We were having a heated conversation the night before when we came up with this idea. Because Bryce was like, "Well, I don't think you're gonna get like the rotational force that you need for this shuriken to effectively hit anything, right?" And I was of the mind of, you're adding so much lateral force that like the rotational force isn't going to matter that much. You're still going to have like roughly the same effective stuff because you're putting a lot of power into it with the slingshot. And so I was very on board with the slingshot, and I was of the mind of, dog, if you had reservations about the slingshot, you should have been in Slack the night before or the day of, and you should have brought that up. Because right now we're here and we're filming and we got a slingshot and we're going to use it.
Which is a little bit deflating.
But we also get the
All right, we're almost down to 50 minutes. That's decent progress for a first pass. And we're still only halfway through. So
importantly, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll start with the disc.
But yeah, at least everybody had the common sense at this point to say, let's take maybe not as much safety precaution as we could, but let's at least take some safety precaution. Let's all put on eyewear. Let's all put on gloves. Let's stand behind the sharp, dangerous objects.
Yeah, sure.
And if I remember correctly, I think there's pretty good payoff with this.
I mean, we'll try the slingshot, but it just feels like it's going to be so chaotic and wild. You're not going to get that precise spin.
Yeah.
I was pretty adamant about the slingshot. Because again, like there are a handful of homemade shuriken, DIY shuriken videos on YouTube. For this one in particular, I wanted to look around and see what the sort of competing space was. And I don't do that for every episode, but for this one, I just felt like, oh, there's probably videos out there. And then if I look through the comments, I can see where maybe those people didn't do as good of a job of explaining a thing or whatever. And it seemed like kind of the only real kind of pervasive complaint is some of like the more advanced homemade shuriken stuff was like, oh, well, this isn't really like homemade. This is, if you have a metal shop, then you could totally make this. But most normal people don't have that. So it doesn't really work for them. And we already have that covered. But I thought us having a dumb angle was really important because that's part of like what the show is, right? That's the whole reason why the thermite steak episode was anything, was because, yeah, we could just set off thermite and that would be cool, but that's not an episode. Not really. So having like a weird dumb objective or challenge or constraint kind of makes the episode what it is.
I mean, we'll
And we just didn't have that without the slingshot.
try the slingshot, but it just feels like it's going to be so chaotic and wild. You're not going to get that precise spin.
Yeah, especially since we're dealing with things that are so light.
Yeah. Let's find out.
One of these days we should get like those Edgar Wright close-ups of them putting on the gloves and just whoosh, and then putting on goggles, whoosh, just like really close detail shots. That would be good. One day.
I guess we'll try the discs first.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Let's find out. I guess we'll try the discs first.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here.
A bunch of them at once?
Yeah.
Sure. Go big or go home, right?
A bunch of them at once?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is the point at which I kind of, as I was saying earlier, I moved to the left of the sort of detailed backup shot. I'm kind of off to the side with the over the shoulder. Should have brought a slab of bacon to throw them into, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would you ever need to perforate bacon? You goofball. But maybe like. Sorry, I'm thinking of like really dangerous things to do with a shuriken, like put it on the end of a drill and then spin it around, and then you've got like a little homemade saw that's gonna just fly off and stab into your face.
Go for
That's
it.
a great idea.
Are you getting the what are you getting, Brian? You getting kind of over the shoulder, kind of close up to the man?
I think right now I'm explaining to Bryce what coverage we have.
All right, so you're just grabbing it right in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, so you're just grabbing it right in the middle.
Yeah.
This does look really dangerous.
Good. Ready? Do you guys want goggles? Ready?
It's always a good question.
Do you guys want goggles?
Right there.
Oh, they're right here. Yeah, sorry, I moved them.
Oh, look at us. We're rolling. All of a sudden we get a little AdSense cash, and look at us. You just gotta let that fly.
Yeah.
You just gotta let that fly.
Yeah.
It's Jackass Simulator.
Yeah, when we get super successful, the protective goggles will all be like Vives.
And it's like, oh, bullet hit my Vive. Ah, just take another one off the shelf.
Okay. Okay.
add star wipe transitions. Not that actually. Not a terrible idea. I might do one star wipe. Because that is a pretty funny idea. Do we have star wipes in here? I don't think there's a default star wipe. I could make one in After Effects though. Let's see. A pinwheel. No, okay, I'd have to make that. That is good. I'll do one star wipe in this episode. I give you my word. I will do one star wipe.
Yeah. Ready? Okay.
This is terrifying. I wonder what's bottlenecking during this process. I wonder if it's my GPU.
All right, now this I do feel.
Yeah, at this point, I might just be better off swapping this
Feel like
out.
has a chance of working. A brick of them all at once, so it's closer to
Yep.
regular shot, and it's the discs.
I feel like it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a. I feel like it's going to be a ridiculous disaster.
It's almost a little bit funnier not even seeing exactly what happens.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
All right.
All right, can you do it with the shuriken? Oh, you got to.
What does that look like with the master shot? It is kind of fun to see this get tossed around, which you don't really get much of from this angle. That's not bad either. Maybe we use this angle and then we go in for slow motion right afterwards, and that can be from the A7S perspective.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
All right.
All right, can you do it with the
Okay, let's duplicate that. Flatten. Then speed, duration, 20%. Drag everything back. Most of those stuck in. It's a shame I didn't have a faster shutter speed. I should have thought about that. But we've got what? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 that end up hitting, what, 2 that go awry? And all of them except for this one stick in. So we've got 4 that stick in. And then 1 that kind of goes to the side. And then 2 that didn't even make it there. Will you go full shuriken shape for it? Maybe. We'll see. OBS and Adobe compete to see who can hog the most resources. I believe it. I totally believe it. I mean, Adobe is weird because Adobe definitely says, "Oh, do you have 8 gigs of RAM? Cool. We'll use 7.5 gigs of RAM. Oh, do you have 32 gigs of RAM? Cool. We'll use 30 gigs of RAM." And like any Adobe product really uses as many resources as you can possibly give to it, which can be really great because that means that it scales well. The more you have to offer to it, the more it's capable of using. But it can also be a little frustrating sometimes, especially in a situation like this with OBS and the likes.
All right.
All right, can you do it with the shuriken? Oh, you got to. Here, try it with the pinwheel. The pinwheels.
Oh.
Shuriken.
I was gonna. Okay. Yeah.
Like. See if it's possible with just one to hit that balloon. Like, do you need the heft of all of them?
Oh, with just one?
Yeah. See if you can try it with just one.
No, I won't use a star wipe there. It'll have to be like a really a precise kind of thing. So maybe like going into the title card or something like that, because then it can be you can know that this is sort of ninja themed, and then you don't really know until after the wipe that it's about shuriken. Or maybe something like right at the end for the production stinger, because then you've already experienced the whole thing, and that's sort of like an unexpected like final touch, or something like that. Maybe there's a different section, maybe like a big passage of time. Might benefit from that. I'm not sure, but that'll be something that's decided later on in this edit.
Hit that balloon.
Oh, with just one?
Yeah. See if you can try it with just one. Ooh, bladed. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Now that was the blade.
Oh, wow.
Now that.
Oh, wow.
Now that was the bladed one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let's try the target.
Oh, with one. One.
Yeah. Do we know where the... do we... do we know where the shuriken went?
No idea.
Okay. Well, give her a try.
They probably should have made like 10 of them while we were setting up cameras. They should have just like quickly went, and then they wouldn't have to worry about, where did this go? Where did that go? Probably would have been a good idea.
Wait, no, that, jeez. All right. Give her a try. Wait, no, that, jeez. All right.
That'll go into outtakes.
Do we know?
No.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. Ooh, boy, that does get a lot of force.
Yeah. It's a slingshot, dog.
Boy, that does get a lot of force.
It does what slingshots
A
do.
little cumbersome with the gloves.
I'm surprised it doesn't just bang into your hand.
Me too.
I'm surprised it doesn't
Pretty good
just
shot.
bang into your hand.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta see this in slow motion. I gotta know exactly what's happening here. Speed 20. Yeah, so unfortunately there you can pretty clearly see that it's so wobbly because of the way that it's fired out. And because you don't have that rotational force. That's not going to do much damage. I mean, also, it hit right on the corner edge. Right? Like, it just barely touched it. But I think if they do the actual shuriken, it'll be more effective because it kind of slots into the slingshot a little bit better and isn't as flimsy. It's still pretty flimsy, though. I mean, it's made out of the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't get that spin here. Try another.
But if you made something with like a little bit of heft, I think it would work really well.
Did that embed itself in there?
What happened?
Or did it bounce off? Oh my goodness.
So that's a good little sound bite. What happened?
Oh my goodness.
And we'll cut over to this. Let's see, what's our best shot? What's our best close-up of this? Probably Bryce's. And let's extend that over.
Did
What
itself in
happened?
there?
What happened?
Oh my goodness. That is so deep.
Wait, which one is it?
I think it was this one.
'Cause we got
Or,
this
or
one.
maybe this one broke it.
That chunk, that huge gash that's out, is from when you did all of them at once.
Oh,
Oh, got it.
There's only one that you shot on that side, and it's still in it.
Well, there's a couple. So
Luckily, we can go back to the tape and see exactly which one it was. Yep, it's that one right there.
well, there's a couple. So there we go. So it is this one.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Thanks for the follow, Emma. This will go up on youtube.com/scamstuff. So if you want to watch more of it, check it out there. Otherwise, the episode should go up on youtube.com/modernrogue, 10 a.m. Central Time, hopefully, assuming I get it done in time. But thanks for dropping by.
Can you pull it out from that side? That'll be
Yeah.
way to tell.
Yeah, here we go. Look at feel how deeply embedded.
There it is. Look at that.
Deep.
Wait, which one is it?
I think it was this one.
Okay, we have to cut over to a different camera for this.
Wait, which one is it?
I think it was this one.
'Cause we got
Or,
this
or
one.
maybe this one broke it.
No.
Oh my goodness. that is so deep.
Wait, which one is it?
Okay, so let's cut that because we know it's not whatever he's confusing it for.
Look at feel how deeply embedded in there that is. Deeply embedded in there that is.
Oh, wow.
Like you can't. Wow.
It's all warped.
Okay. Wow.
It's all warped.
Okay, let's do it with the Sharpie ones.
Okay.
I have to make some more.
Yeah, I don't know where they went.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, okay.
Who's this guy?
You want to hold it? I'm kidding. You want to try? You want to do it?
No, I don't.
No?
I'm scared of this.
Oh, okay. You want to hold it? I'm kidding.
Toss that into outtakes. Let's see. We are under 50 minutes. Look at that. Look at that.
You want to try? You wanna do it?
No, I don't.
No?
I'm scared of this.
Oh, okay.
There's too much. There's plenty of brute force in this, but there's plenty of brute force in this, but there's so little control. It makes me nervous.
Says the guy who works with fire for a living.
And you're just doing it right in the middle.
Yep. That was pathetic.
Getting a little bendy. There we go. Now I know with the rubber band, it is important that it not be exactly in the center, so I don't know.
Oh.
Now I know with the rubber band, it is important that it not be exactly in the center, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that changes for you. Jeez.
That doesn't look like that's going to work at
Yeah,
all.
Try it. Who knows?
Whoa. I don't remember that at all.
It flung.
But also that's kind of to be expected, right? If you put it at the top of the propulsion source, it's going to fling it up. That's kind of neat, though. Look at that.
It flung.
Yeah?
Not so much on the precision.
Here, it's right here.
This is going to need a lot of work. A lot of just like
So I guess just
finessing,
aim low.
pacing, and everything.
And set it right in the middle.
In fact, I'll probably cut that out entirely because it just didn't go anywhere, right? It's like on some level, it's just misinformation.
Holy cow. Holy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. He shot it and it went and landed on a cable that unplugged one of our lights.
Holy cow. You took out the lights. Holy cow. You took out the lights. You took out the lights. Holy cow. Lights.
All right, let's see what we got here. Slow all of this down. Oh, right. Pull it out of the sequence because that was a 24 frames per second sequence. That's kind of cool. It's interesting to see that kind of fade out on the light. Anyway, I'll leave it in for now, but I will probably adjust that later.
Holy cow.
Holy cow! You took out the lights. You took out the lights. Holy cow! Oh my god. Oh my god.
Sometimes Brian reacts big, and a lot of people call it overacting. I sometimes have a hard time deciphering whether it's Brian playing up for the camera or whether it's genuine. I think even if it is played up, it's sourced from somewhere genuine. It's just heightened a little bit to play better for the episode. But I actually spend a lot of time cutting that down to what I feel is a reasonable reaction. Every episode is different with that, though.
Oh my god. All right, here, I'm gonna plug the lights back in. I don't know where this was plugged in.
In the dock. That's right.
Oh, got it. Yeah. This is great. This is enough of a punch out when we see how deep it is in there. All right. Say when.
What are we doing right now?
I figured that was enough of a success that the money shot will be pulling this out and seeing how deeply embedded it was, and then we'll rate it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Do you guys want to get?
I'm in because we had a genuine moment. I'm coming out of that moment.
Okay.
Just tell me when. Holy.
That's us going, yeah, but I don't know where you're going to be, and we need to frame the cameras for where you're going to be. So if you don't go to where you're going to be, how can we do that? But I understand where he's coming from on that.
Oh my god.
Here, let's even.
Oh my god. Holy freaking cow.
And, if he's going to start off with holy freaking cow, then we don't need oh my god. A little redundant.
Holy freaking cow.
Whoa.
So look at how deeply embedded.
And we could even cut this out as well.
Holy freaking cow.
You wish you could live like Brian reacts. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Whoa.
So
Yeah,
look.
Okay, so this should be a little bit smoother now, because it looks like the A7S footage is done.
Whoa.
So
Yeah,
look at how deeply embedded this was. I stand 100% corrected, man. This thing
Whoa.
blasted in, chunked. Yeah, I stand 100%.
Also, sometimes I definitely rely on those moments where I go, okay, I feel like Brian or Jason is gonna flub this line of dialogue. So if I have to move a camera, I'm gonna choose to do it right now because that means we're not gonna use that take anyway, and he's just gonna dial it back, and I can cut over when I was moving the camera. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't.
Man, this thing blasted in, chunked. Yeah, I stand 100% correct.
I like it.
Oh.
I stand 100% correct. I stand 100% corrected. This thing utterly blasted straight in, almost went through the entire target.
That was surprisingly effective.
Yeah.
I like it.
And surprisingly sharp.
Now, run.
Oh Jesus! No!
Get me a beer and then
Hold
run.
on. Let's do a real quick wrap up thing. It's like
Sometimes Brian does that, which bothers me a little bit. Sometimes he'll.
Here and then
hold
run.
on. Let's
Sometimes he will interrupt a take to say, no, let's do a different thing. When I should just talk to him about this. He should let the take play out and then when there's a lull, then say, okay, let's do something different, because it's like, what if I wanted to use this take? Now I can't use it because you're saying, let's in the middle of it. And it's like, that's tough to cut around. So like it unnecessarily ruins a possible good take.
And then run.
Let's do a real quick wrap up thing. It's like
But we're all trying to get better at our craft in time. But I think that's also a lesson that, like, we all do dumb things. I do plenty of dumb things. Bryce does dumb things. Jason does dumb things. Brian does dumb things. We all do dumb things, and even though we have a video that has almost 700,000 views as of last week, or since last week, doesn't mean anything. We're all idiots who don't actually know how to make videos, but we're doing it anyway. It's a living.
So Shuriken, they don't seem like a toy anymore. Let's do a real quick wrap up thing. So Shuriken, they don't seem like a toy anymore.
Yeah, no, I think we could actually hurt somebody with
They
one
seem
of
like
those.
genuine weapons of harassment. It's almost as though warriors of old actually had a good reason for using them.
Now it's time for the more. Yeah,
Wait, is that a ritual we perform?
yeah. That was actually Nia Num's line in Return of the Jedi. Now it's.
Everybody drink. Return of the Jedi reference.
Now it's time for the next part of the game, the most dangerous game. Not it. Now it's time for the next part of the game, the most dangerous game. Not it.
Oh, you motherfucker. No.
Do you want to compare the different?
Yeah, I think we should.
Oh, sure. As part of the wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe make a brief note that there are like a billion different variations of how to make these.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said. I think I was talking there. Let's find out.
Maybe make a brief note that there are like a billion different variations of how to make.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So one of the things I found, we found like a really great. Okay, so there are a ton of different ways to make shuriken, and you can find a ton of them on YouTube. And we found the instructions that we went came from an Instructables article that somebody posted, and they were like, oh yeah, you get these little roofing discs things, and then you cut them up, fold them, and then there you go. And it's like super simple. But I found this brilliant one, and they found like fabric shears, which are basically just scissors, but they have a unique design. And the way that the fabric shears were shaped, they were like perfect for shuriken, and they were just attached by 2 screws. So all you had to do was unscrew them. In fact, I can probably find it for you right now. And it made like an unbelievably easy shuriken. And I wanted us to do it, but I didn't know we were doing that episode until like the day before. So once I found this specific style, we just didn't have enough time to source them. Like we could probably find them and ship them in, but we couldn't get them in time for the episode, or else we'd have to go searching around Austin for these specific type of fabric shears. Okay, yeah, here we go. So like those look dope as hell, right? Thread clippers. There you go. And so yeah, you just unscrew them, and then you get another pair, and then you screw them all together, and you're done. It's as simple as that. Like that would have been even easier than the one that we showed on the episode, and more dangerous. Which is like super cool. but we just didn't have time to find it. So I wanted to make reference of stuff like that, and we'll actually probably link them in the description of this video once it goes up, because I think that's so good, and like nobody's seen it. I haven't seen the specific make of homemade shuriken anywhere else. I'm sure somebody's probably also come up with that idea of getting those thread clippers, but it's so good. So I wanted to reference that.
Yeah.
No, okay. Now there are a billion different.
Yeah, it's really good, right? I hope this episode does well, and then there's a good amount of spillover traffic onto their video, because that's just real cool. And it's like it's a really bare bones video too, which is kind of nice. It's just like really simple and clear. FJ Thyme, hey, what's good? Upcycled. Well, you know.
Now there are a billion different variations on how to make these. I've seen people use X-Acto knives and thread cutters, disassembling those,
Razor
and then reassembling
blades,
them.
there's a good tutorial.
Razor blades, all sorts of stuff. Now these are just like roofing discs.
I'll tell you what, the roofing discs, as far as pure precision, if you're comfortable throwing a deck of cards, I'll tell you what, for the roofing discs by themselves, if you know how to throw,
Roofing discs.
I'll tell you what, the roofing discs, as far as the roofing discs by themselves, if you know how to throw cards, they're astonishingly precise. It's really the best way to.
It's one of these situations where it's like, Brian, why are you throwing way off screen? If you expect anybody to get any of that on camera, I don't know what you're doing, because we are clearly not set up for it. Although I think those are supposed to just be throwaway, but like, come on, dog.
Go. But I would imagine that
Woo! Don't include that.
best way to go. But I would imagine that with a little bit of practice, you can get the same way. You'll want to make all of your stars exactly the same, so that you get a rhythm to know how to throw it just right.
Yeah, and you also have the actual bladed ones here. Oh, sorry. You actually have.
Yeah, so basically how editing works is we have a bunch of different cameras recording at the same time to get a bunch of different angles, and then we kind of try to go from a beginning of an episode to an end of an episode. We do a show on YouTube called Modern Rogue. You can see the link down there. And you know, there's a lot of like talking and then going like, oh, that didn't really work very well. Let's try it again. Talking, cut out the stuff that doesn't work, keep the stuff that does work, and you have an episode. It's a really simplified version, obviously, but
Have the bladed ones there, which take all of 45 seconds to make.
oops.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty precise.
Yeah.
It's
And
gonna destroy this place.
then we have the halfway in between
The
disc.
pinwheel thing. This one. I'll tell you what.
Stuff like this.
Sorry. I'll tell you what. This one might be, if you.
Also, Bryce, focus. Come on, dog. I know it's the 50 millimeter, and the 50 millimeter is tough to focus. I get it. But look at this. Look at this.
You just want to cut.
I mean, to be fair, this is better than if the background were in focus. That would drive me insane. I can live with this. It's not great, but I can live with it. Also, I want to say we had a scam school not long ago, and I saw it because Bryce edited the episode, and I think Jeff might have accidentally pulled focus instead of pulling the aperture ring and got the whole scene out of focus for like half the episode. I think that might have happened.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, so cut this.
Between
The
disc.
pinwheel thing. This one.
Cut that out.
I'll tell you what. This one might be, if you just want to cut someone, you're not going to poke an. Wait, I'm not going to say that. What the fuck? That's crazy. I'll tell you what. This is the one I'd like to see.
All right, drop that into outtakes.
I'll tell you what, this is the one I'd like to see people experimenting with, the little pinwheel design, because that pokiness is going to definitely injure, and considering that the whole purpose is to harass people, it just seems like that's got the precision on there, and that's going to slice a face.
And then there's the sheet metal card.
Sheet metal card might, to me, be the most dangerous of all of them. Sheet metal card might, to me, be the most dangerous of all of them. It's got a little more heft and, whoops. I don't want to hit you here. It's got a little more heft and got insane penetrating power.
And we'll clean that up on a second pass.
It's got a little more heft and got insane penetrating power. So now that we've explicitly described how deadly these things are, nobody do it.
Yeah, don't do this. It's a terrible idea. Don't be like this.
Brian, dog. Keep coughing in the middle of that. Do we get a clean take of that or no?
Yeah. I mean, that's how we need to. All right.
Also, hey, we're down to 45 minutes. We went from an hour 10 or so to 45 minutes. We just have to cut out like 30 more minutes of footage.
But I will vouch for all of.
This is just.
Don't be like this.
Yeah, that's a weird coffee one.
Terrible idea. Don't be like this.
Oh, nice. You're a subscriber. That's great. Editing sounds a bit like writing a story. I could see that. Maybe like ghostwriting a story or something where it's like maybe there's already an established fictional universe that you have to operate within. I always see editing like sculpting, right? Filming is the act of getting the big slab of marble or whatever rock you're gonna sculpt out of, and then editing is taking that big slab of material and trimming it down, and you sort of take it in a bunch of different passes, and you kind of get it into the rough general shape, and then you trim it down until it starts looking like something that's recognizable as whatever you're going for. And then kind of towards the end of the process, you start adding the final touches, really refining it, and you kind of look at it and you can really see what it's trying to be, but then you have to use those like intuitive senses to say, oh, this proportion isn't quite right. Like you need to adjust this just a little bit, and then it'll be perfect. That whole kind of thing. I've always seen it in that light. I didn't see any of the Power Ranger stuff. I saw that they were doing a big stream of that, kind of similar to their what was it, Bob Ross painting stuff. I saw that they were doing that. I don't think I ever watched Power Rangers much. Sorry.
But I will vouch for all of these were much more dangerous than I originally thought. None of this is a good idea to muck around with.
Yeah, don't do this at home.
Yeah. In fact, our whole show, let us do it. That's what.
Okay, so this is basically a clean take. That's good.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Just watch and enjoy from the safety of your laptop or preferred viewing experience. All right, cool.
I mean, I'm definitely going to use the most dangerous game. Man is the most dangerous game.
You want another take on the wrap up, or are you happy? Check local and state laws. Make sure that you check local and state laws.
Okay, so this is a note that I told Brian to tell myself for right now. Add disclaimers, check local and state laws, because these are weapons.
Check local and state laws. Make sure that you check local and state laws about making and throwing ninja stars. Shuriken.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's clean up. And then
They always say write what you know, right? So that explains that. Okay, so now's the process when the episode is done and we have to shoot pickups, which is what this yellow bar is here. So that's just close-ups of stuff. For this, I think it's mostly just the actual process of cutting up the metal. But we kind of want to go through this anyway, just to see exactly what's there. Hey, thanks for the follow.
Don't forget
FJ.
the one in the wall.
oh, that guy we might leave there.
It's kind of cool.
Kind of feel like, well,
Oh, did we use? Yeah, you pulled them all out. Okay.
Okay, so it looks like there's not much talking, so not much can go into extended outtakes. Also, we don't typically use
back and forth, Michael.
black footage.
So funny. I recorded this in international waters.
I got on a boat and evaded the IRS like I was
L. Ron Hubbard.
on the thing. I think this is the ones I was. Oh, the ones in my hand. The ones you're literally touching right now, Brian Brushwood.
Safety experts.
Can I get a clap?
I do the same thing though.
All right, so what are we doing?
Oh, are we redoing audio, everything?
Oh, I mean, we'll just talk through
Okay,
the bits
yeah.
so that.
All right, you're just going to take a little.
So yeah, this is going to be way more clear than our detail shot, unfortunately, because our detail shot was sort of set up last minute. Like we were about to start rolling, and then we went, maybe we should add a fourth camera just in case, because neither Bryce nor myself are going to get like good top-down shots. I think I really want to invest some time into is there are two ways to do really good overhead shots, which we could really use on Modern Rogue. One is kind of setting up like some kind of bar or pole overhead and then rigging the camera in such a way that it attaches to that bar or pole and then face it down. But that's kind of risky if you don't have like really good clamping gear or whatever, which I have zero experience with and don't know anything about. Also, you kind of risk, depending on what sort of lens you use, you kind of risk the lens drifting a little bit due to gravity pulling on the lens, which could change like the focal length, which is problematic. And also you could have the camera sort of drift if it's not clamped down well enough. And that's bad even if it doesn't, even if it stays on, right? Not even mentioning if it falls. A much safer option for the camera, at least, is to rig a mirror overhead at like a 45-degree angle and then place the camera low to the ground and shoot up into the mirror and then bounce down onto the table. That gives you a mirror reversed image, which is easy enough to account for in the editing suite, right? You could just flip it horizontally. You need certain types of mirrors because some mirrors just aren't very good for that. You need something that's safe to shoot in case the mirror falls. You don't want a bunch of glass everywhere. And finding the best of both worlds is tough. And also we would need like a C-stand to clamp it up. And then also how do you not get the mirror in the shot? So you have to have it pretty high, and there's a whole slew of variables and stuff, but I think it would be like so good for stuff like this where we wouldn't need pickups. We could just have a camera running and it would get like really great top-down shots. Whereas, you know, back here at the beginning, when we have, let me see if I could find it, where we have this shot, it's like they didn't tell me where they were going to be cutting stuff at. You know, for all I know, they could have been cutting like right here up at their chest, which wouldn't have picked up at all on here. So I just went, okay, well, let's just aim for the middle of the table. And I think I told them where it was going to be at, but they just kind of did what was natural to them, which they didn't communicate beforehand, which is right at the edge of the table closest to them. And so it's like, even from here, I wouldn't have a great shot of that, even if I accounted for it and changed the composition, right? Because then it's not really a top-down shot. It's just kind of a high-up shot, sort of high up. Anyway. So for right now, pickup shots like this are pretty necessary because it's way more clear. But I would like to envision a future wherein this is less necessary. How do you decide this is main episode stuff and this is outtake stuff? That's a good question. I just kind of know. I just sort of know. There's definitely, if it doesn't help push forward the narrative of the episode, then it goes into outtakes. There's some stuff that's kind of obviously too meandering to go into the main episode. I try to keep the main episode pretty slim for what it is, right? I want every element of it to kind of be another step forward. And there's a lot of, for instance, Brian's sense of humor is to take something and just kind of run with it and keep going further and further with it, and just kind of indulging flight of fancy. And so that stuff can be really obvious for outtakes. It's just like, well, obviously this has nothing to do with the episode. But I do like to incorporate a little bit of that, you know, just for flavor and character. But yeah, it's sort of tough. It's sort of tough, but it just sort of finds its way over time. A lot of it comes down to pacing, honestly. I kind of as I watch through the episode more and more, I can sort of feel when something is dragging with the pacing a little bit, or if something is too rushed with the pacing, and a lot of stuff that doesn't fit with the pacing of the episode gets thrown into outtakes, unless it's really important and necessary for explaining what's going on.
All right, you're just going to take
Hey,
a little
Webbit.
cut here, and you're going to do 4 of them at 90-degree angles, but don't cut all the way into the middle. Leave a little space in there.
Okay. There's a natural grain, too, that makes it easy to line up with.
Cool. Thanks for dropping by, dog.
For the first 2.
Always nice to hear from you.
You want all of your cuts to be about equal. Okay. And then once you get the 4 spots, bisect those the same length.
Yeah, see, some of this was not very clear at all during our first run through, so this is really good stuff to have.
All right.
Okay. And then take every other one and fold it in.
Drifting a little bit away from me. Caught me not paying attention.
Okay, and then just cut it into points.
Yeah, and we didn't get like any footage of this. Not any usable footage, so this is great. And I believe this is GH4 footage, which means that it's shot in 4K, so I can zoom in even more on this, make it a little bit more clear.
This is like Home Alone weaponry.
Oh, that was a great idea for an episode. Remember we were gonna. That was on our original pitch.
Oh yeah.
Was the improvised prepared weapon?
I still want to get an airbag and put it behind a door. If somebody opens it, it
Just
slams the door.
blasts them back.
Yeah. They use hammer.
Good.
It's Josie's birthday or Penny's?
Pennies. 13. I am the proud father of a teenager.
Give this one's from me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
I'll make one for Callie and Josie as well, though, so they don't feel left out. Because that's what I was like.
Dude,
what do you?
look how sharp that gets.
I asked her. I said, Callie, what have you been up to? And she's like, I just need to cut some bitches. And I was like, I'll take care of you.
Sounds about like cow.
Yeah. And then she went back to her Fanta. She was like, orange is her favorite.
Yeah, look at how sharp that is.
All right, so that'll go to outtakes.
Yeah, look at how sharp that is.
At no point do they do this in the episode, so it probably will be super useful to have, but I'd rather have this footage than not have this footage. Oh, right. Okay, so at this point I was taking photos. I was thinking about like, what do we use? What do we do for a thumbnail?
Oh, of course.
My hands.
What?
I just cut myself on it.
Oh, of course.
My hands.
Yeah, classic. Brian cutting himself. We did have an episode where Brian started bleeding that hasn't been released yet. I think currently it's scheduled to come out in a few weeks. That'll be an interesting one. So yeah, this is all thumbnail stuff. I was trying to.
Is in the starting stages of their congressional bid.
It's something I've been considering more and more. What do we do for thumbnails? And I like our kind of general approach to thumbnails right now, which is sort of just take it on a week by week basis, and just try to do something interesting with the thumbnail every week. But I do like trying to come up with like an interesting visual. So for the surveillance thing, I thought, oh, it might be kind of cool if, if Jason got up on top of this car in the warehouse, and let's see if we can pull it up here. If he got on top of the car in the warehouse and sort of stood up there to sort of play this villain that he plays in the last third of the episode. And it didn't come out exactly as I wanted it to, but I think it came out pretty good. And it's weird because it doesn't immediately communicate, oh, surveillance, but it does have sort of this kind of, sort of dictator sort of look to it, sort of like this oppression that might be induced by mass surveillance, something like that. That's why this text is here, surveillance, because it's just like, it doesn't really say surveillance, so let me just actually say surveillance. But that's kind of what's going on here. It's just me going, is there anything that I can take photos of that kind of help better explain the story?
No.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Nope.
It's also really
Rage
important for
Select has
episodes.
pretty much prohibited that.
Oh, jeez.
Forever.
Yeah. Thinking.
Nope. Rage Select has pretty much prohibited.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Ricky.
So yeah, it's especially important. Hey, there's me. It's especially important for episodes like the Nigerian scam email episode, where it's just an episode of two dudes talking at a table the entire time. So it's really important to get some kind of interesting thumbnail for that.
It's the district that he. Can really take advantage of it.
isn't that wow?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like the PS4 because it only goes so fast.
Yeah.
And I had it wired up into the living room because we use the PS4 all the time.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I did the speed check on it, I was like, "Oh, you dumbass!" Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is still remarkably faster. But yeah, it's great.
Oh, disregard that 911 thing. That was
Oh.
20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we can cut all that. Finally, we can get out of multicam mode, which is great. That means this video will run way smoother. At this point, let's go over back to editing. Let's go to pickups. We'll drop these off in pickups and then implement them into the actual episode later. Now we're down to about 30 minutes, which is a good thing. Okay. Now we can start doing like more aggressive cutting, stuff like that. Hail President Kardashian, absolutely. So, it's a lot to dive into, honestly, and we have, what do we have? Not 8 hours 20 minutes until this episode goes live. So let's do this actually. Where is my trusty countdown timer? There's one that I really like. It's this one because it looks super ominous. So let's see if I can get this isolated. Give me a second. Could you do an image of Brian throwing a star if you have one? I mean, we could. I don't have a still image of him doing that. We could try to get like something from the footage, but generally speaking, all of the cameras are operating at a slow enough shutter speed that it's gonna look blurred out whenever he does that. But we do have some options available to us. Let's see, footage, 2017, Q1, Shuriken, A7S, DCIM. So here's kind of a lot of what we've got to work with. This is the stuff I was shooting while that was going on. I was thinking about using something along the lines of this, but maybe with like some kind of on-screen thing that does something, I don't know. And these are kind of behind the scenes photos of exactly what's going on. This is dipping into surveillance territory. This is outside. This is Jason standing on the car. A lot of alternate takes. This is the original without the side text or whatever. I like this one. This one's pretty good. And then this is back at my apartment. So we'll use one of those real quick. Let me get this. This countdown timer, and then I'll have a countdown for release time, so that way I know, hey, we got to get this stuff done. That'll maybe that'll motivate me. Hopefully that'll motivate me. Let's see. Let me pull up some music, and then also I'm going to take a bathroom break right after this, and then we'll kind of jump right back into it when we get the chance. Let's do surf. Surf is very good. All right, cool. Thanks for dropping by Open Bayou. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. How do I change this? There we go. Okay, so we're looking at Friday at 10 a.m. Let's take it down to small. All right. See ya, Murdoch. Let's add a window capture. Countdown timer. Yep, that one. No? Does that not capture all of it for some reason? Oh, that's weird. It does not like that.
Sit with the beat. The chair isn't fair with you sitting right there with your hair in a knot, not a care in the world or a pot for the piss. Which we
Anyway,
share, 'cause a pair costs a lot.
thanks
not
for
a
getting
pair in
this
the
far
world.
into
The
it.
world wouldn't miss much as this. And if it isn't the same, then it's apples and lemonade. Can't stand for a Minute Maid man with an iPod. If I got locked up, would you see me at the end of my sentence? White dot, bipod with what I got,
I'm just
which I got from
Just clicking on stuff now.
Fuck.
Hey, look.
Still ain't did shit with
There's
the
supposed to be
beat.
something
Stare
there.
isn't there when you're feeding the therapy.
Trust me.
And their approval, a shoulder to lean on from when it gets shivering cold with the heat
So
on.
let's do
In a trance with
this.
the beat going. Realizing that you
I
never
can get
speak
around
on
this.
things done. People keep it a secret and keep going. Ain't no reason to keep on thinking on. There's something deeper that's trying to up under
Okay,
my
get
guard.
rid of that.
Trying to break bread, stop begging my pardon. My lead is a stray, let's
To
get
the
an
left
apartment with a dog and a song that I wrote
monitor.
you this morning.
Hey, don't look at that. Hey, don't look at that. There you go. We've got this. And then just God damn it. Just slide it right on over here. Okay. Then we can crop this down. Crop it down to there. Crop it down to there. Now we're talking. Crop that down. That's when this episode goes live. Now, you know what? I could even crop this out. Woo! I was moving Twitch notifications. Crop that out. Now we know. Alright, cool. Meanwhile, I'm going to take it over into this mode. Coming up next, let's see, it's going to be more aggressive cuts and audio normalization. Okay, I will be back in, let's say 5. It'll probably be sooner than 5, but I will be back soon, and we will get a bit deeper into this whole thing. Be right back.